it's still a very similar game. It still plays the same. The fights are still very similar as well. Maybe the neutral is a little bit longer with the ult economy adjusted a little bit and how that ult build-up happens as well. But yeah, this could be the prime time to try and be able to break through and catch teams off guard.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you could still figure out what's strong in this crazy meta shakeup. And I think, like, right now, I mean, this game has never been harder to play for sure professionally. Like, the fact that we already had patch changes right before a major tournament is insane, but it's just a part of the game. That's a part of the what you sign up for at Marvel Rivals Esports is to, we're trying to, appeal to people across the world besides just the competitive scene. And, sometimes you can get the short end of the stick in this case with having to figure out an entire new meta. It could be fun in that challenge, though, right, Gask? It could be an interesting experience, I guess, trying to figure out, like, what to play and what's good. Because, like you said, I mean, there's still a lot of heroes that we haven't seen today. We only saw one BO5 in America, at least, so far. So, there's still, obviously, the Mantis is a mainstay in terms of the ban phase, but there's still a lot that can be determined after that.
And there will be some teams who are quicker at adapting as well and will love the fact we get meta changes as often as we do. But there are definitely some teams who are just slower, and we will see them start to get better towards the end of a season. So it really does kind of depend on where it lands in the stage as well. Some teams struggling more than others. But we're into the pick and ban phase of the heroes then, and we'll have to see what we've got in terms of hero selection. We're already seeing a Namor being hovered as well. I've spoke about how I think Namor is very good this season, especially if you are trying to counter a little bit of dive as well. But in terms of the initial bans and locks, it's similar. We've got Mantis, and we've got Gambit, and we've got Elsa.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, that character can be good against dive, and, there's a lot of, it feels like obvious counters on the outside sometimes that just don't happen, right? Like, in the playoffs, remember the Penny Parker stuff, and then we didn't see any, like, counters or anything like that, and, it felt like Penny Parker was going to potentially be hard meta, and, obviously that never happened. But, yeah, for sure, you could always pick out the Namor, I think. And I'm curious if any teams want to do that, right? And like you said, there's so many changes to keep track of, so, I want to see if either DKFANCLUB or Redemption are going to show us anything specific, because I know we've seen Auslander Man before, we've seen Meatloaf Mike before, actually, and a few of these guys. So, it's going to be a lot of fun, I think, to see them finally compete once more, because it feels like it's been, months since we see a lot of these MRC-level talents compete, because it really, it has been months, basically, since we've seen much of these guys in the competitive scene, unfortunately.
I do appreciate production as well, just swapping around the names for us. As you may have seen earlier in EMEA, there was a few issues at the moment with the observing client where it just has the team the other way round, but production have been able to sort that on our screen for us and you guys watching. Dog, in terms of our casting client, it is going to be the wrong way around. But so I apologize in advance if we make a few mistakes on some names and on what team they find themselves in. But as I was saying earlier, Redemption, arguably the better side. They finished 4th in MRC Season 8, and they are definitely one of the more favored teams when it comes to coming into this season as well. We did see some interesting locks and bans there as I was yapping as well. You're going to see Doctor Strange getting protected. The Galactic Legend gets removed away. Star-Lord is not going to be there as well. And we'll also see the Rogue being kept. Now, Rogue being kept, I do still think Rogue is a fantastic hero to use, but I do think that there's going to be a lot of players who played a lot of Rogue last season just wanted to try and go for a little bit of a comfort pick.
Okay, yeah, let's see if it pans out for the side that opts to do it. Very aggressive style of composition, but we'll see here on Krakoa how things kind of move out and move and shake, because dive was really strong in previous patches, and like these sort of kind of surround comps have been really good around the Black Cat that we didn't get to see in the previous map. So depending on how things shake out, we might get to see more hardcore dives, and we'll see if any teams can sort of peel them off, because we only saw the triple Stratus comp kind of once, but obviously those are more on the other map types besides Domination. Starting out, though, we will be seeing Redemption playing a triple Vanguard comp out of all things around the Elsa.
And we've already seen how Elsa can be a huge difference maker as well, and triple Vanguard can be fantastic. That is going to be DKFANCLUB playing that composition as well. As I said, for us, Dog.
So we're the wrong ones. Are we the wrong ones?
Yeah, we're the wrong ones,
okay.
But the on-stream will be correct.
Okay. Yeah, our viewers think we're crazy probably. They're like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, it looks absolutely fine for us on our screen. You can already see some important damage that has come out in the opener here as well, but still no early picks to be found because fantastic work from the strategists at the moment to keep everyone up and thriving. And already you can see how Deadpool very quickly gets to ultimate, by the way.
You can also see how quickly Black Cat gets KO'd. Jesus. I mean, goodbye, Meatloaf Mike. You looked like a snack for Black Cat in that fight. I didn't know Black Cat was into the sharks, but, you know, I guess she is a cat, probably into most types of fish. And, okay, Zarx just takes down everybody, basically. That damage is just crazy after the changes come through. Nice win there for the side of Redemption as they cap the point first.
Another question is, after that initial fight, you know, do you learn anything? Do you go for an early swap? Often with the ult economy being built up, you do have the opportunity after one fight to say, okay, it's not going to work. After fight 2, you're probably holding on to an ult, or you're very close to one as well. So this would have been the time for any changes if you noticed any immediate concerns. But there's going to be the first KO going in favor as well. Rogue being able to do that damage initially, and now with one down, it's going to be the Elsa that has already fallen. So a lot of that damage output that is there and relied upon has suddenly disappeared.
Neutral engages have been so good for DKFANCLUB, and for Redemption, I mean, they don't have, you know, necessarily like super strong Stratus ultimates for Peel necessarily. You with the start with the Deadpool and the Strat pool, you can maybe find these KOs in the middle of the fight, also have the damage boost, but it doesn't matter. I mean, Zuxa with another one. Shots down range. Here comes that Jeff, but can we dodge it? Go through the portal. It's going to be awkward. Does it come back for the Peel at least? Yeah, it looks like it comes back to the team. The Glortrox does capture under 2, though. Nice job with it. Brings it back, though, and it gets deleted. The opposite side for Yatsu. So right now, these Strat ults have been too strong for this side. Going with the Black Cat now. Gets the reset, too. Goodbye to Asian Pablo. Removes him. Elephant falls. Same thing with Oslanderman. And they're capping the point behind, but it doesn't really end up mattering. I mean, actually, maybe it does, but it's your Doctor Strange who does so it can't even go for like a cute little portal play touches. That will be for just a split second as that point is flipped back. At least they're not getting 100 0'd, but that's still a very dominant fight yet again for the defense, dude.
Yeah, a nice little bit of a stagger as well for Redemption, being able to stay in control of this one, with only now 18% required. Ayavagomoto is going to be there and available for DKFANCLUB to use, and also the portal is going to come out to try and maybe create a little bit of Summit here.
Strike at me if you dare.
And actually, the real question is, does the Eye hit anything? The Eye does connect with a couple, but it was Wild Thing in the end who got the first pick. There is going to be a reply. Yotsu goes down. And now it's going to be a 5 versus 5 on the point, but Meteor M might just make that. Once again, back in the favor of Redemption here, and it is as easy as pie. 1, 2, 3. We take over to 100%, and we will see Redemption take the first round. So DKFANCLUB, they tried their best with something a little bit different, go for the triple Vanguard that you had pointed out, but the amount of times that Redemption were able to isolate the Elsa, deny the amount of damage that Elsa outputs, and then suddenly they just had such a huge advantage going into the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's really shut down Slenderman. And you can see as well, like, that was a big eye that you mentioned. People have been talking about it, though. The White Fox, Luna Snow team up. The fact that you just get cleansed is just a little insane. Like, you saw he hit both strategists with the Ayavagomoto, and then Zux is like, no, I guess I'm not doing that. Goodbye. I can move again. So they found one, but then Zux is able to live, and you saw Luna Snow shots from Redemption have been so clean. We'll see if the side of DKFANCLUB can come back, because again, kind of like the game we saw earlier, Gas. That was like a one-sided matchup on round number 1. But things can change, right? This next map is a little bit different than the other ones, a bit more open, I think. But I would assume maybe that's better for these Black Cat comps that Redemption have been running. So I don't know if Redemption or if the side of DKFANCLUB are able to adapt as they move again to another triple Vanguard comp. This time it's a little bit different though, with the Loki alongside that Rocket Raccoon. But again, it's the same strat you talked about where they're pocketing this Elsa.
And I love that you bring up the Atlas Bond as well. The Luna Snow team up with White Fox. So good. Not only does it heal allies at the same time, but like you said, it cleanses them. I think it charms enemies too.
Yeah,
so I
it's
think
ridiculous.
you could stop a Wanda ult with it, right? So there's just so much utility already that you have as Luna, being able to right-click and get the freeze, but now having that on top of it, yeah, brilliant. Luna is instantly up there as an S-tier hero to have on your team, as long as you have someone who's good at hit scan, as now you can see someone who is good at hit scan is going to be on the side. of Redemption here as they were able to find the first 2 KOs in their favor, and this is just a walkover right now.
Yeah, another fight win for them, and unfortunately it's because of the fact they didn't have the ultimates from the previous fight, having to switch off it. I mean, I like the idea with Deadpool and Jeff and stuff, play a little bit more of like a surround sort of style and try to play for yourself, but like Black Cat's so strong at the current moment. You know, and I think that this team has been doing a good job taking advantage of these dives. They're incredibly coordinated, even maybe more so than the previous series we just saw. So we'll see if they can keep it up, though. They do have Gambit ult again available. And finally, DK Fan Club have those strat ults. They do have the copy as well for Meatloaf Mike. But are they going to find KOs through it? DK or Redemption as well will have damage to KOs through these Stratus ultimates that are surely going to come from Redemption.
Oh, just so easy as well. Raging Royal Flush comes in and just allows them to deny everything, even with the Seer. And now we're going to go again and again, potentially, as they continue to lay down the law here against DK Fan Club. One of my favorite things about watching MRC tournaments, by the way, is seeing the usernames of some of these players and the gamer tags they have. Earlier in EMEA, we had Kylian Mbappe, which was quite funny because I think he's playing right now, or he was. England versus France happening today. I think that may have ended in England's favor. Let's go. The boys, we finished 3rd place. Anyway, sorry, back to Marvel Rivals. Meatloaf Mike is one of my favorite names in this lobby, but can he be the difference maker? And perhaps getting a copy onto one of those ults to just try and put them back into this one, because at the moment it's 70% in favor of Redemption. We are very close to this map already ending.
Yeah, I mean, Meatloaf Mike, hopefully he's praying that his meatloaf doesn't have onions in it, I guess, you know, because he's cutting them right now, maybe potentially having to go home if he cries. That was like a UFC fighter type quote. That was terrible. I should give up after that one. See you later. Popping out early for Meatloaf Mike, though. Trying to come back into it at the very least, forcing out that Luna Snow ultimate on the backside. Wild Thing maybe trying to find that Meteor Ram. It does so. Wow, H Public goes down to that Wild Thing. Truly was spectacular in that fight, taking down the Rocket on the opposite angle. And again, losing his strategist so early on is basically a nail in the coffin for this side as they try to come back into it with basically nobody. I mean, this was an absolutely one-sided affair with the Bucky. This felt like it was a masterclass for this defensive hold. They win 2-0 on Krakoa and set themselves up for an excellent map number 1 victory.
Blimey. Yeah, that was a quick one. Blink and you will miss it. And I guess we're seeing now the difference in terms of those leaderboards and with the MRC. As I mentioned, 4th place from MRC Season 8 in particular, whereas DK Fan Club were 9th in the leaderboards of the combination of the 2 prior seasons. So they're a little bit further down. And you can kind of see it at the moment in terms of how one-sided this is. And the stats don't get much better for them. I like that they tried something a little bit different. They tried a variety of things as well. They weren't afraid to make changes, DK Fan Club. I think that's one thing that I think people in that ranked game struggle to do in early ranks, and I'm sure these teams have had to have those conversations of saying, look, we can't just commit to one thing and be one-trick ponies. We need to be prepared to switch up. The best teams in the world are those who can adjust on the fly. But it is Redemption who are able to win this first game quite comfortably. It's 13 final hits in the end for Adore, and 13k damage alongside it.
Yeah, pretty insane matchup out of them, and I think you pointed out the experience level of this team, and you know, I think that the biggest reason why these MRC teams are one-sided in these type of maps is because if we go to domination and stuff, even in like Ignite series tournaments, it does feel like the MRC teams are best on domination, especially if they can just get those coordinated sort of on-the-fly dives off in the neutral and stuff. Like you saw, excellent damage output, excellent follow-through in terms of target focus. But that leads to way better domination maps. So it's like the coordinated maps, when we go to maps that require maybe a little bit more VOD review, maybe more set plays, some different plays and stuff, it could be more challenging. But I think on domination, when things are more free-flowing, you're just going to see some really, really good teams on domination, and that's why that map type is a lot of fun. But we're going to map number 2 now, which, I mean, I would imagine maybe we see some struggling there. But like you said, they've already mixed it up in terms of the composition a little bit. The first map, they were on Jeff and Deadpool, Strat Pool. But then they go over to the Rocket and the Loki so far, but it felt like neither were stopping this offensive side, right? So I guess the change-up's going to have to maybe come back down to that ban phase, but we saw how dominant Elsa was before. This time, it just felt like it was negated, right?
It's a lot of responsibility to be the solo duelist, though, as well, at times. I mean, I know it did switch up eventually, but just that pressure to start within the game of you're going to be the only one who's outputting any real damage. I know there is going to be of course, plenty of heroes that do damage as well, even if they are just vanguards or strategists. Actually, yesterday I played a game against 6 strategists. Was very fun. I know that is that is a bit of a tangent, but it was an interesting match. It was just a quick play. I just jumped in. I wanted a quick match, and on the other team, they tried to do something a little bit different, and I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was quite fun, and they did surprisingly well. They did lose, but I appreciated that they tried something, and it was just fun to watch.
They lost just like England did in the World Cup, right?
Well, I mean, okay, we just won. We just beat France, okay? Third in the world.
Third in the world. Wow. You're going to hang up on your fridge? Is that going to be your mom's fridge?
Where did United States finish in the World Cup, dog?
That doesn't matter, okay? That doesn't matter. Whatever that goalie who they kicked the ground, okay, that guy is even worse than, like, the Korean head coach, dude. Like, we got to start blurring his face. I don't know who he is. I barely watch soccer, by the way. Soccer to all you Europeans out there, Mr. Daniel, okay? Anyway.
We finished higher, so we can decide what it's called. Anyway.
I guess that's how it works, huh?
DK Fan Club versus Redemption Map 2 then. And Dog was trying to tell us that this might be a little bit easier for DK Fan Club. Or they might do a little bit better than they did in that domination. Boy, I hope so, because I want to see a little bit more of a closer matchup. We don't want to see stomps all day, although we might. Because, again, it does happen. In these early rounds, you see a lot of 3-0s that can go in favor of some of these teams that are a little bit more experienced. In terms of locks and bans, we're going to see Daredevil removed on one side. The Star-Lord, again, is going to be the focus. Also, interestingly, Rogue has been a ban. A couple of, like, off-meta bans that are coming through that are potentially being targeted towards some of the players who have their picks they like to use.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Like, you see teams with hit-scan-only players, you don't have to worry about the Black Cat ban and the Daredevil ban in this case. Maybe teams that prioritize the Star-Lord stuff, because that was prevalent for a long time. But, immediately DK Fan Club not want to deal with the Black Cat the previous map. But Daredevil's still viable and strong like we saw in the previous series with Nightmare and Light absolutely going insane on that hero. But both teams going to get the Elsa. Both teams getting the Gambit too. So, like you mentioned, a little bit of a difference of opinion in that regard. But we're banning out the Angela considering, DK Fan Club, I guess, showed it for a moment. But obviously, getting rid of the Black Cat's just fine. I think we've seen a ton of it in EMEA and other regions, and this one maybe not as much. But for DK Fan Club, I mean, they played the triple Vanguard comp, so we've seen that out of teams like Sentinels. But I think this team, this is their map they have to come back on right now, because if we lose Convergence, I mean, Convergence and Convoy basically play the same, and that would spell basically disaster for the side of DK Fan Club. And I disagree with you guys. I'd be down to see some stompage. Oh, maybe. I'm okay. 3-0s are fun, Maybe.
You're just a man who likes to see the world burn, and that's what I love about you,
Well, 3-0s are fun because, like, you could potentially see some things that these teams have to improve on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
for sure.
Like, if they're making the same mistake over and over again, and they're not learning because, they don't have a coach, this is the only way they can, like, adapt and improve, right? Because they have to go back and watch the VOD and see what happened. Or they have to find a new team because they hate each other. That's the beauty of esports. Nepo hires come and go. That's life.
The question is, do you like squids?
I like yes, love.
Because we're about to see a lot of them right now. Not only have you got the Namor in play with the Gamma team up with Hulk, allowing the extra Gamma squid, so there's going to be 3 squids available for Namor, but also Hela in play, which has the Namor team up, which is going to provide another squid upon every single KO that she's involved with.
Yeah,
so if you're DK Fan Club here, you have to have someone who's going to be on Squid Watch.
Are you saying we're in some sort of, like, Squid Game?
This might just be the Squid Game of all Squid Games.
I can't believe it. It's finally here, Season 3. Anyway, towards the point is DK Fan Club trying to avoid said squids, like you said, take them out early. Nobody's going down. I mean, they've sustained very long. And, oh, no, he's looking behind. He's like, where's my team? Unfortunately, for YTP, he goes down. Same thing with Meatloaf Mike. In this case, Adore just hits those shots. Beautiful work from him. And the follow-up is there. A minute off the clock already. For this offensive side as the Raccoon tries to hide in the bush, can't evade the Wild Thing who lives in the forest.
What I love about all the team-ups, by the way, is a lot of people I've played with, they don't still know all 102 team-ups, or however much there are now. So sometimes you'll be like, oh, well, this team-up does that when it's enhanced. And they're like, what? Really? That sounds crazy. That sounds broken. And it is so funny how many you have to try and learn, and when you are competing yourself, just trying to know what you have to go up against as well. For example, Hela, the enhanced team up with Namor, you get the extra squids upon every attack from her Goddess of Night ultimate. So it's just going to be a squid farm that we're going to see once we get there for a door. And also Hela hits Blummin hard as well. You can two-tap those strategists just like the good old days. DK Fan Club struggling at the moment to deal with some of the pressure that we're seeing apply.
Yeah, this Angela's just been disgusting as well. I mean, baiting out the trap. He might be able to get out of it too. And like you said, a door just hits those shots on the backside. And this is again, DK Fan Club in this case, you're definitely getting a little bit mechanic diff. It feels like, you know, like you have the Namor squids, you have the Hela just able to do whatever they want. You have even this Hela in a weird spot. Like, where is a door? Why are we there? Why does it not matter? Ador's teleporting back and forth because of lag or something, and it finally goes down. But Jesus, that took forever to kind of capitalize on, and you can see maybe at this point DK Fan Club need to stabilize mentally at this point to commit that Gambit ultimate. Can we find any more? Oh my God, and does fall too, but brought back by that BRB.
Has all available as well. And also Hela's going to have it too, so they're going to be able to reply to this one Redemption. They're just biding their time. Aya Agamotto does come out. They are able to find two off the back of it. DK Fan Club make it a third.
Oh my.
But Redemption, they're going to be able to drop the Seer here just to try and keep alive, stay alive, and survive at this point. The DK Fan Club are forcing them back, but look, they've had to jump off the point to be able to do so. Redemption going to be able to hold and stabilize. And now this Goddess of Night is going to be available if you want to use it.
See what Dor does has to do. Deadpool committed onto it, so unfortunately not much more going to be found. Glartrox off the map. It doesn't end up mattering, no, because of the squids, like you said, being spammed towards that point. Adore with two in a single blow, able to find multiple members of DK Fan Club, send them back to spawn with 30 seconds left to go, and the Glartrox doesn't end up mattering. As Redemption hold on the first point with 30 seconds, man. This is going to rely on that TP play, which can get canceled by JRP. He's looking for it at the current moment. He might be able to get it.
Redemption did use a lot, but it allowed them to stay on this first point here, and DK Fan Club are going to Last Door Saloon. It's going to be a portal time. And it's going to be a completely neutral fight at the moment. Wild Thing's probably going to be the first one to get ultimate, the Eye of Agamotto on the side of Redemption, but DK Fan Club, if they can get an early pick, perhaps they can wipe this one before that happens. They are trying to isolate some of these players at the moment, and it is going well for them. That is your job as a Deadpool. Isolation works out, a door goes down, and DK Fan Club going to try and secure this first point.
Loved how Yatsu's been playing this so far, but eventually will get tracked down due to the ultimate advantage of this offense. Eye of Agamotto was committed by Wild Thing, but unfortunately no KOs can get found after as DK Fan Club with the Storm change-up, with these last-second touches, with the portal coming through, and no TP cancel from JRP. This resulted in a snowball for this side, and you know, it's an interesting change to go over to the Storm to give you the damage boost, but maybe they need it right now. I mean, you have 3 Vanguards. You want to give them the damage output that they require. We talked about Deadpool being so valuable earlier, and Ymir was able to basically do it himself. Finally, collapse onto that Loki and the backline, who have been safe throughout. For Redemption and Squad, they're actually going to mix things up, too. They're off the Hela, going over to the Elsa. And for DK Fan Club, they just want to play together as a cohesive unit, maybe give their Vanguards a lot of damage, which makes sense because, you know, you did see Doctor Strange plays were huge previous fights, and now with that extra bit of damage and speed, you could be even more deadly.
I do like the switch over to Storm. I like the changes to Storm as well. The fact that with the Thor team up, she's now hit scan, which great news for hit scan players, by the way. Terrible news if you're going up against a Storm who is someone who is good at hit scan, because it can be very detrimental for your game, as DK Fan Club still finding KOs in their favor now, and they are still pushing this cart forward. And Redemption just need to try and stabilize a little bit. Zeraxis is at least able to find one, but the rest of the team starting to drop off. Thankfully, the invisible boundary just keeping them alive, but not for long enough, as Redemption now are going to have to back off and allow this cart to get a little bit further.
Yeah, it is, but this is going to be a tough fight unless we hit a big Eye of Agamotto or something, due to the fact that, you know, you only have that See You Later, and they have both Stratus ultimates, and they could just walk in, maybe delete the See You Later. So we have to find a KO fast, take advantage, but looks like the engagement comes out first for Redemption. The See You Later falls low. Here's the Eye, but is it avoided? No! Nice job. They shut down Zuxa, and actually, the Loki has to sort of live on the backside angle, so excellent engage there. Nice job to capitalize off the See You Later. That was their only way to win the fight, and with 40 seconds left to go, I mean, Redemption can maybe come through with maybe Stratus ult or something, but they're going to give it up. They're going to go into third phase as DK Fan Club keep it moving with such an interesting comp that I think we saw a little bit in EMEA today. And it's already working out, I think, for this squad that liked to play triple Vanguard that you talked about earlier on Domination.
And with the Storm ult available now, the Mega Hurricane is going to wipe on through Redemption, I'm sure. Such an incredible ult when it's used in the right areas. Again, it feels like Psylocke's ult. It can just be game-winning, round-winning, fight-winning. It's about when you use it, and if you use it correctly, as Redemption are going to be able to burst out, and Zaraxus moves over to Wolverine and immediately deletes Magneto. The BRB is going to be there, though, for DK Fan Club, so they'll still have a 6v6 and won't be down that one player. And now we're going to see the Mega Hurricane come through. Can you actually find any KOs with it? Yep.
Immediately finding 3 off of it, 4, make it potentially 5. The answer is yes, all squad wiped for Redemption or for DK Fan Club. And that's now 3 fights in a row, man. Like, wow. They've been slowly getting back into the series. Redemption, however, have been making ultimate, so playing it a bit safer. DK Fan Club, I mean, last time they came into the Invisible Boundary, they were able to get the fight win, but Zaraxus could pull everybody out of it. With a huge Wolverine ult coming up in a second. I mean, this is looking a little bit more dicey than it was earlier. Does he want to make the play first? He goes for the grab, gets pulled back by Invisible Woman, shield used to try to live it a little bit longer. Glartrox is huge as well, and that's 3 in the fight for the defense so far, sending DK Fan Club back.
Didn't have to use the Psionic Seduction either. Clobber in time still available. Wolverine ult is going to be there for Redemption. DK Fan Club, by the way, they've done fantastic to get this far. They were almost held at the first point, but for a last-minute portal, winning that engagement, and now they're going to try and do something similar and replicate it. It's another portal. Can you win this engagement, though? You've got Meteor M and Invisible Boundary. That's going to be your uses. For Redemption, they're going to have replies of their own. That Psionic Seduction is going to be there shortly, I imagine, but Magneto just gets ripped away from the rest of the team again. The Wolverine going to work. Eye of Agamotto comes out now as well, as Redemption are starting to farm some KOs. But DK Fan Club, they respond with 2 of their own. They still are in this one, just about.
Yeah, they are, but Zaraxus still having the team up, goes aggressive too, and Ymir at least gets the iframes in the backside. Overtime ticks down. They don't have Portal to touch. Nice job to remove him too with the vulnerability, and now this Emma and Wolverine on the card. It's going to be super hard to deal with. These are some of the characters that scale the most throughout these long team fights. And with the thing, the damage reduction coming through alongside their own vulnerability, it's going to be so hard to touch and keep it up for the side of DK Fan Club. But it's as you said, Gask. I mean, they got that so far towards the very end at the very least. But this is kind of what, also just to go back to what we were talking about earlier, a lot of these MRC teams and teams that are qualifying are really good domination, right? But the moment we go to these other maps, you see they falter in very odd situations, right? Like the coordination maybe is not as there as like Ignite teams like Team Liquid Citadel and maybe the top squads.
What does worry me, though, is that first point and how long Redemption were able to dominate the fight. Like, DK Fan Club looked out of it until they finally were able to win one engagement. What was impressive was the momentum they got off the back of it. I think Redemption were a little bit lost, and they hadn't really found their way to stabilize. There's a lot of staggering that happened as well. I think if they had taken a pause and a breather and just assessed what was going wrong, they probably could have held DK before that second one. I've seen games like this happen where you're like, oh, great, you know, DK Fan Club, they get it really far, but Redemption may just steamroll this one as well and get all the way to 3, if not, beat it faster.
Oh, no. He did the Penny Parker thing with in the spawn too. I wasn't laughing at your comment, by the way. That was just oh my god, man. Like what? Okay, off the rip, but he's gonna walk back. He'll be back in time. Sometimes we see that, but you're right.
Honestly, I didn't see it because I was like looking all over the place. Did he fall off the back?
Same. No, he got hit by the Penny Parker bites. He did the cheese where you shoot it from spawn or whatever. It's some nonsensical stuff. I mean, Auslander fans back in time anyways, so doesn't end up mattering. But it's like a lot of situations in this game, like you're like, oh my god, that was a big Luna Snow Freeze, and they still lose the fight anyways, you know? It just kind of happens. Marvel Rivals, it kind of makes it fun, I think. But Penny Parker, a character that I think we've seen a lot more this patch than we ever have before, comes through on the defensive side a little bit more than other teams too, but this is triple again for DK Fan Club. You talked about it. I mean, we've seen teams get snowballed pretty frequently today, but you know, can they finally capitalize? The answer is no. Cross-map shots from the Luna Snow player on the offense.
And now you've got to try and find those spider nests. You say that, well, actually, that's one way of doing it. Just delete Penny in general. You said we're seeing more Penny. It's because you can get 2 spider nests now through the Rocket Raccoon team up. One was already too much, but now you get an extra one which has armor. Like, what the heck? You didn't need to give her that much of a boost, surely, but yeah, Penny is sometimes a ban in your ranked games. And I wonder, just with these pro players getting used to them, is she going to be a ban on certain maps as well, especially like Dracula, for example? But now we're going to see these KOs coming through. DKFANCLUB are just throwing themselves through the portal, and they are unable to stop that initial one. And now, Redemption trying to take full advantage of it.
Yeah, they tried to like stall on Mr. Fantastic and portal play, but it just wasn't there in time. And 5 minutes now in second phase. You talked about it maybe not being enough for the sign of DKFANCLUB. It's looking like the inevitable is coming. I mean, it's only been one map, obviously, but the difference in skill level definitely is apparent. And for DKFANCLUB, you know, they have to still mix it up again. They're back onto the Storm stuff that we saw on the offense, but on defense, we're going to be a bit more predictable. Redemption also going for those dive setups, so the comp might be able to counter what DKFANCLUB are doing as well, being alongside the Daredevil. But no, this case, they get walked on. However, it's traded. Pablo falls.
Thraxus has gone down, though. 4v4 on the map at the moment. Storm has ult available as well. The Hurricane could be the difference maker if you wanted to use it, but probably feel a little bit reluctant to do so. No, here you go. This is what you need to try and get yourselves back into this fight as well. Can you actually find any other strategies on the back line? No KOs found just yet. Finally, you get one. Luna gets taken down, but the reply is going to be there from the Elsa. So it was just a 1-for-1 trade for an ultimate, which doesn't feel great.
No, it doesn't. That looked crazy too. I think that was just the team up too, alongside Gambit healing with the White Fawn. Just flew up for a second. Maybe like ragdolled themselves, so you don't take as much fall damage if you're like a person in real life getting hit by a tornado. But in this case, Lartrox hits the wall on the comeback. No more KOs able to get found as Wild Thing pushes this card towards the end. Meteor M available. Shield's going to be there with the Venom team up, or Venom Slam. Beast the Abyss also connects. Also, Eye of Okamoto gets canceled. So rest in peace and Elephant in that fight. And we're moving into third phase in incredibly fast fashion as ultimates are all for naught for DKFANCLUB, as this triple Vanguard composition is just getting dismantled by Redemption in their dive.
I said, I've been here. I've done it. I've been a part of it. I've also been against it. You see it. You see the foundations of it happening in that first fight. You learn a lot from the neutral and how good some of these players are. Redemption just seem to have that little bit of an extra X factor to them at the moment. That doesn't mean it's done just yet, though. We could see a miraculous hold here from DKFANCLUB. It has to start now. There is going to be dance floor available for Redemption to use. Let the Devil Out is going to be there as well for Zeraxus. That potentially could be the difference maker. But the first KO going in favor of DKFANCLUB is exactly what you needed. And again, it is the Storm doing work. I love the Storm switch. It's really changed the dynamic here for DKFANCLUB. Is it just a little bit too late?
4 minutes to go, you're right. That's so much time on the bank for this offense. You know, and for DKFANCLUB, yes, they'll have that Storm alongside the Jeff. And the Jeff NATO. Okay, nice job again from the Doctor Strange player. I mean, he's been so good on DKFANCLUB. He's probably been the standout player for this squad on Doctor Strange. Something like Kendrick a little bit, and Zeraxus falls to Ymir after it. So there's that sort of comeback. At least you can make it incrementally back into a competitive series, but they're going to have to do a little bit more than that to make us actually believe, I feel like, right?
That's the thing. With the amount of time available for Redemption, they can play a few of these fights just in the neutral, force some of the ults out from DKFANCLUB. There you go. There's one more that's going to be forced out, and you can start to build up a big ult economy to then just come back and take the fight. Although I say that, Let the Devil Out was used here from Redemption, but Jeff's going to pop out and get a little munch, protect, and spit back out. As now the damage ticking away, you will be able to find 2 of those KOs. So DKFANCLUB are holding 4 now, but look at the ults that are starting to build up here for Redemption. They already have 3 available. Meteor M is going to be coming up soon as well.
Jeff
and the Lartrox connect.
I think the answer is no for now. They break it on the defense, but still playing slow. They actually don't use the Jeff team up that you talked about earlier. Use that Jeff by itself, but they actually remove the Doctor Strange over. That's brutal. I mean, 3 minutes left to go. You have ultimates in terms of Shroud ult for Redemption's side. Onto that thing you go, but he gets pocketed. Nice heals from the side of the defense, but they're committed. That Deadpool ultimate, Gambit ult on the comeback, using the walls to run away and disengage this offense now with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go.
Kadinga do connect with 2. And Redemption now might be able to, off the back of this one, just start to walk up and bully DK Fan Club to try and complete the map in their favor. Eye of Agamotto comes out with great bubbles as well to protect. And sadly for DK Fan Club, they will not be able to hold for 4 minutes. I think it was going to be too much time really to try and hold on. And Redemption will take map number 2 in their favor. But it was a good and valiant effort from DK Fan Club, especially if you look back at the fact they almost were held out at the first point and they were able to get it pretty much the entire way across the map afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were, 2 minutes or whatever of hold. Their offense was looking a little bit better in overtimes, like you said. But still, I mean, this is the one thing that we could take away from I think this map type on domination. It could be a bit, I guess, for us spectators, a bit more random unless we're seeing like very high amounts of domination maps and scrims or whatever. But we move over to these maps, you can see, man, like it just feels like these teams, one fight goes incorrectly for them and they can get snowballed or whatever. It just feels like one of those maps you need to have, excellent VOD review for and improve at, because it does feel like this is a consistent thing for MRC teams. But still, Redemption do win it and are trying to redeem themselves in this lower bracket, similar to Nightmare earlier. Maybe they want to play against Nightmare later on in the tournament if we get to see those two go head-to-head. But for DK Fan Club, now they have to try to come back. It's still possible, but like you said, the pressure's ever mounting, and at this rate, it might be too late like the last series was, man. So looking at the stats, that was pretty one-sided yet again, but there was moments for the Storm comp that you talked about.
Would love to see a comeback, though. I'm all for it. Would love to see if we can go the distance rather than having it being a 3-0. And certainly there are things there for DK Fan Club that they can look back on and say, okay, we succeeded in these elements. We were able to find a few successful engagements because of X, Y, and Z. I mean, in particular, I do think the switch up and just being able to have that little bit more of a damage output from Storm really helped them as well, rather than forcing too much on the other side from the Elsa. And even just having the elevation to be able to get away from some of the nonsense that was happening on the ground from the other side from Redemption. Just being able to be in the air sometimes can be very beneficial. But that's going to be a 2-0 map lead then for Redemption. We're going to go for a quick break, but when we come back, we'll see whether we conclude or whether we keep going. Don't go anywhere.
Good at this. Nowhere to hide. Double-edged sword. I never miss. I am too good at this.
Welcome back, everybody. My name's Dogman, joined by Gasket, and we're in the middle of another series, guys. I don't know if you were aware, but it's been going on, and it's 2-0, and it's a qualifier match yet again. If side of DK Fan Club lose this, man, they're headed home. Well, they've already been home, but they're out of the tournament, out of the qualification rounds, and we talked about it earlier. It's way harder to qualify via America in terms of slots available. Rather, the competition skill level, that's up for debate, but in terms of only 2 slots, being here to play for, it's going to be a tough matchup, and especially an uphill battle for DK Fan Club.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, the way you look at it is if you want to make it into Ignite, you are going to have to beat one of the 2 teams that drop down into this relegation phase. It might not necessarily end up that way, depending on if teams are eliminated a little bit earlier, but that is just the way to look at it with only 2 spots being available. Can you take that spot away from them? One of those being Nightmare, of course. If you were able to watch the previous game, they 3-0'd into the next round. They will be playing the winner of this matchup that we're watching at the moment. And right now it looks like it's likely to be Redemption, but maybe DK Fan Club can bring back this in the 3rd map and show us something a little bit different. There were certainly signs of life here that certainly shows that they can actually take it to Redemption, but we do think Redemption are the better side at the moment, especially with their fighting ability and certainly just being comfortable in some of these fights.
Absolutely, they should. And guys, I think if this one's a 3-0, you got to join me in the dark side, okay? You got to join me in it, like living in it, you know? It's the...
Just embrace the 3-0s, embrace the stomps, just live for it. I feel it flowing through my veins. No, I'm not quite there yet. Not quite there yet,
Dude, why? You're too happy for a British person, you know? This is
that's why we're together, because I am the yin to your yang, right? We can
so
counteract each other. You can be the person who lives for the chaos, and I can be the person who wants to see a hard-fought game. But wait, you know, that second one was better. It was better than the first. It was, at least it wasn't a one-sided stomp. It did look a little bit dicey to start with, though.
Well, the early Angela, it did look dicey. You're right, and I think, you know, maybe this is the way I like you want to see these like hard-fought battles, you know, really fight to the very end, and I just want to see the team get put down. You know, like it's like a peaceful, quick, you know, it's like an old animal.
That's the Dogman that I have come to know and love. Since the very day I met you, there was Reddit threads being made about, Dogman this, Dogman that, the way he sees things, you know, and you call it how it is, and that's what we like about you.
Yeah, I'm colorblind. It's black and white over here, you know. That's the way we look at things. But I mean, I guess this isn't black and white to DK Fan Club because, I mean, we haven't seen this Angela First Protect ever, man. It's always been Gambit, right?
Yeah, it's a bit strange, but perhaps they felt like the Angela was a difference maker for them in the previous, and they feel more comfortable on it, or they've started to notice. And again, this is what I was saying in the previous series when we were watching Nightmare play. When you are in the 3rd map and you're 2-0 down, now is the time to really be thinking, how are we going to get back into this? What's happening so far has not worked to this point. We need to change something up, and we need to find something, even if you're taking a risk. Otherwise, you're just dropping out and asking yourselves, well, what if we had banned a little bit differently? What if we hadn't have protected, etc., etc.? But the Elsa is going to be protected on the side for Redemption, and I am excited to see Redemption with Mantis as well. I think that's going to be the key factor here. Mantis has been an insta-ban in almost every matchup that we've seen so far, so having that damage boost, is that going to be a detriment to DK Fan Club?
That's a great call out by you, because that's just definitely a huge mix-up, and that's why you said, like, they're just trying to really, that's how you know their backs are against the wall if they're, you know, doing stuff like that where it's just really counter to the current meta. But, you know, maybe they realize what could play well around the Mantis, which is inarguable, like everything. That's why it's such a strong character right now. Shredder's in general are just so good, but I mean, the amount of damage that is surely going to come out of Redemption is going to be crazy. How good are they going to be at playing that composition? Can they finally put the old dog, I guess in this case, Monkey, down off DK Fan Club? But it's going to be a tough uphill battle yet again for this game number 3.
Yeah, you're looking for game attacks that have animal names in there. You've got Elephant there as well for you, you know? People trying to entertain our dog. That's what we like in our
I like that.
night broadcasts.
I was going to ask you earlier, like, you know, we see Jeff in the game. You know how he, like, swallowed 2 people?
Yeah.
Like, don't you think, like, I want, like, eventually think about this for after the break. I need to get your take on, like, a very fun and interesting idea for a skin. Because I was thinking for Jeff, you know, we have, like, Fitbit Jeff, where it tracks how many people you've eaten in the series. And, like, each character has their own calorie count, you know? Like, how, like if you eat the thing, that's going to be, like, I guess 0 calories because he's a rock. So, that's interesting. Anyway, yeah, think about it for later. Think of interesting skins and interactive skins for later, guys. That's my homework for you mid-series.
Someone add this man to the dev team because he is cooking with some of these ideas. Now,
Dude,
can Redemption start to delete with the 3-strat team up here? Also very excited. They did hover Jubilee for a second, but in the end, they are not going to be playing the Jubilee, but we are going to see Adam Warlock into the fray. Our DK fan club going to regret the day they did not ban Mantis here.
They might, for sure. Cloak and Dagger alongside it. So they're really going for these sustains, and then these immediate engages with Terror Cape. Asian Pablo goes down again. The DK fan club sent back the Force Storm. Oh, Bob and weave. Oh my gosh, she actually lived. No way. Nice movement. And unfortunately for Wild Thing has to fall back to the team, realizing it's better to come back to Peel in that case. And it actually is, because Zera, again, excellent shots, takes down an Elephant.
And which team up did he choose for Adam Warlock? That's the real question. Are you going to have the heals on that right click? Looks like yes. So a good choice for me. I love Adam Warlock. I always have. I felt very sad that I wasn't able to play him as much in my games. I know you're, again, still probably traumatized from the early seasons when Adam Warlock was here, there, and everywhere, but now you are going to see DK Fan Club being able to push out a little bit. Hurricane's now going to come out as well to try and find a couple of these KOs in their favor, but Zeraxis is able to remove Storm from the map as comfortably as you like.
Yeah, the tough part for this offensive side is that they've been so... Oh, wait, Invisible Boundary's not there to save the cloak. No! Doesn't have the cooldown. Okay, finally takes down Zuxa. Door also falls. I mean, it's a bit... I think one-dimensional for the Doctor Strange comp, but it does work for them. I mean, this has been their strength, is walking forward and just getting KOs with Doctor Strange with the speed boost and stuff out of Storm. So, you know, they're able to get those KOs. Nice job with that. Ivalgamoto was getting a little dicey. Ultimate's also up, so portal blocks coming through. Also counter portal coming off the map. See you later, JRP and Adore. Adios. Maybe even going to fully cap out this first point off of that beautiful counter TP.
Yeah, there's not going to be enough time for Strange to come in. You've got the group walls as well to deny anyone walking in. Beautiful from DK Fan Club. That's what we like to see. Someone using initiative and just trying to do something a little bit different. I love the counter portals when we do see them. Redemption, though, they do have a lot of ults to work with here as they're now going to start to get involved in this one. And actually 1, 2, 3 KOs going in their favor. DK Fan Club may have got the point, but now Redemption will regain their territory here.
And again, this is, I need to see, you know, a little bit more coordination in this Redemption squad because, yes, even though they were winning the series, and now in this one, DK Fan Club fully camps out that point. Again, we need to see some more cohesion in certain aspects, you know, but maybe a few fights in a row could go the way as ultimates are up. There's the Groot ult on the backside. I think it just got eaten by the Magneto shield, though, so nothing of value found in that fight. As everybody on this defensive side gets to push forward with the Mantis now. And nobody goes down. Even with the damage boosts out of Yatsu, they still have to sustain in the fight using the Soul Bond to keep everybody up in the Deadpool ult, but nobody falls just yet. Asian Pablo coming up with that Jeff ult in a moment, but a door comes back to peel off Ymir. And he does fall. So excellent work from him to remove Ymir out of that fight. That was so much damage with that Deadpool coming down range, but again, a door. The shots have always been clean onto that Bucky. Nice job to pull back into Doctor Strange. Here comes the Storm. Slammed by the Bucky, but is the follow-up damage there? Oh. Yes! Removes South Slenderman.
Cracking Impact doing its work. DK Fan Club are going to have to pop the invisible boundary, but now you'll see the response as well. Cloak and Dagger ult comes through for Redemption, just to give them that carpet to walk on. And providing that healing they so desperately needed to force back DK once more here. And now DK are going to have to reassess how they want to approach this one because Redemption have just gained control of this bus. And they've just got ults galore to work with. Still got Adam Warlock to be able to bring back everyone with that Karmic Revival if they want to use it as well. But they're just getting the pick over and over again here. DK Fan Club having to try and do anything to bring themselves back in.
Poor Pablo. I'm looking like Pablo Sanchez right now. He's getting absolutely smoked on this offensive side. 2 minutes off the clock now, man. I mean, it's just been incredible out of Redemption. And this is what we wanted to see. You know, their group play has been nice. GRP's been big with Strengthening Prisons every time. DK Fan Club have been trying to find their own sort of plays, but it feels like at times they're ignoring what Redemption are opting to do. And they still have that Adam Warlock res available. So, unless the Adam's hitting this fight, unless we can get that team up removed, or rather the res removed out of the Doctor Strange DK Fan Club, this might be a tough fight yet again as they've swapped over to the Bucky themselves.
Bagamoto comes out, a few protections on that bubble as well, but they are at least able to capitalize on one, make it two. And also it's Jeff coming through from Pablo as well. As now you will see Karmic Revival just brings two back for Redemption, so they are not out of this one just yet. And also the fact you have the Wild Wall team up for Groot as well, just providing them with that extra healing from those walls that are going to be on the side, placed very strategically as well. Wild Thing gets one. And now DKFANCLUB are in a 5 versus 6, and it's all falling apart after a successful start to this fight.
Yeah, this Groot has just been absolutely separating these squads. I mean, the Slenderman goes aggressive with the Kraken Impact. Not able to find a KO because he went too far, and a door gets one. Also, the sleep came through from Yatsu. Nice job to help peel that off, and they've made this, slow, nasty, sort of like in your case, football Spanish defense where they kind of surround the backside. That was good pronunciation, right?
Really, that's exactly how you sounded just like me, honestly. Whoa. Really good. Football.
Oi, mate, you ready to watch some soccer? As the very end of the game, we might have. Okay.
Could never be. As now the deletion of the Kraken Impact happens again and again as the door starts to pummel DKFANCLUB. They're down to 30 seconds. It doesn't look like they're going to get much further here. They're out of ultimates. They're out of space, and it looks like they are out of hope here in this last one. They've only been able to push it less than halfway, so Redemption are not going to have too much to do to try and beat them unless we see a big pick here in the neutral. Maybe Bagamoto could do something.
It has to be big. And that res coming up in a moment for Zaraxis as well. Might spell disaster. The blade. Oh my goodness! That Bagamoto, okay, just uppercut to the face. He does get brought back, but here comes the meteor. Man, door's still not dead! Holy crap, finally goes down. That was like freaking Thanos out there. Finally goes in the middle of the fight to that meteor end.
So some KOs going in favor of DKFANCLUB. They are at least keeping this one going. And they haven't just fallen over and gone limp and allowed Redemption to dominate this one. But now you're starting to see Blade doing some work as well. Does get CC'd though, and suddenly the Hurricane now trying to apply that extra little bit of pressure as well, as DKFANCLUB still have the 6 up. Redemption gonna have to try and look at maybe redeeming themselves with the Karmic Revival, and there it is. It gets activated. Redemption will be back up to a 6 now, but are they out of position? Overtime is almost ticked over.
Save the Doctor Strange to the backside, but Ymir goes too far, goes down. They come back with the Mantis as well as Ultimate Spider-Man here as well to help capitalize off of that, and Yatsu combines for 2 in the fight. Overtime slowly dwindles, and the car barely moved past this first pillar in the second phase, as the first point was in the favor of DKFANCLUB. Not now, as Redemption held with 5 minutes on the clock, basically. Excellent work out of the defensive group.
It's not the longest distance to be covered here for Redemption to try and win this map and this series, but that being said, we have often seen on this map that first point can be held if successful. Do we have access to a penny? Yes, we do. Penny could be used if you wanted to as well on this map, but have to see what DK set up with. I mean, it looks like both teams are happy running the Groot at the moment. Could always, if you're worried about the Groot being a problem, you could always switch over to a Punisher just to try and delete those walls as quick as possible, but for Redemption, it's kind of, if it ain't broke, you don't need to fix it. I know things do change when you are attacking. We'll have to see whether they opt to change any of those team-ups, for example. I think we are starting to see some teams using certain team-ups for offense versus defense.
30 seconds before you attack.
I mean, in particular, the group walls, actually, being able to have them heal you through the Mantis team-up, whereas if you go for the Jeff team-up, maybe it's a little bit more of an offensive strategy because you can be a little bit more aggressive with the group, and then you can hit that bubble. Almost similarly to what Thing does by just armoring yourself up as well. It'd be very difficult to deal with a Vanguard playing in that way. But for Redemption, they're going to have plenty of time to start this one up, and I'm sure they're feeling very confident.
And they have every right to be at the current moment. They've just been, bending but not breaking. As with that Groot, the wood is proven to be very pliable. That's right, word is They're bending at the current moment. Potentially to a door. It's Anne Frank. Maybe the opposite way, just kind of more like a rubber band slammed into his face. And, even though you use that BRB to bring back one, the hook brings you into the Elsa once more, and you see a door play this entire series basically flawlessly. What a great hit scan player they've been, and DKFANCLUB sent back to spawn. That's a brutal situation to be in, too, against these group walls that you talked about earlier, man.
Question is now, with Redemption starting to find themselves in the ascendancy here and getting closer and closer to the next round in the lower bracket, remember, they have Nightmare waiting in the next round. Have we seen enough from Redemption to think they could kind of take the game to Nightmare? And I think the answer has to be yes so far. Like you mentioned, Adore looks really good in terms of his hit scan ability, but also what the rest of the team offers with their chemistry right now. But DK Fan Club say we don't want to allow you to get too comfortable a route through just yet. But as I say that, Adore goes off again alongside Zaraxis, who also has been a brilliant Bucky, may I add. I do think that Bucky is going to be very important in this season in particular, as now the portal will come out. This is last chance here for DK Fan Club.
Near the one goal to Black Cat. He's been on Deadpool throughout the entire series. Does go down to Zaraxis, but at least you trade back one. Close spawns, however, for the offense. So this might still favor the side of Redemption, as a Cloak and Dagger will spawn and be right here. Zaraxis with the hook again. Can they find something? Talk about good he's been on Bucky, but the thing on the right side to the group walls is able to live for now, however. They lose one. Adore finds another with the Glartrox off the map. Goes and Elephant. And also the Storm Ultimate. Will it be able to find anything without any team to help support the Storm? And in the middle of the Eye of the Storm, Adore finds Amir. Can we find, potentially on the defensive side, anything? The answer is no. And unfortunately for DK Fan Club, the portal, will it be here in time? I mean, the Mantis to help kind of follow through and capitalize. And there's somebody touching the thing, but nobody else going to be here with 4 minutes and 20 on the clock. Just kidding, there's one. And there he goes. Ymir falls. The DK Fan Club. I think a good way to send them off is this. Gaskin. DK. Eliminated.
The DK Fan Club get their own fan song from Dog. That's what we like. That's why we keep him around. He comes up with ideas about game skins and also theme songs and chants for some of these teams. But ultimately, it's going to be Redemption who move forward to the next stage of this lower bracket, and they will have a date with Destiny. And Destiny is going to be Nightmare in this one. Can they take down Nightmare to progress and get one step closer to Ignite, or will Nightmare be one step too far? As we say, who would have thought it?
Yeah, who would have thought it before today for sure? I mean, the character's good for sure. And, you know, I'm proud of you guys. You didn't mention your ranked teammates in that one, so, you know.
But
I thought for sure it was
by
coming.
proxy, I'm still talking about my game, so maybe
Yes.
Sorry, everyone, for playing the game.
This is great. This is great. How are you? You're on the bingo card, right? That's the thing. So what do I have to do on the bingo card? Who does anybody got bingo yet?
I'm gonna find yours. I'll let you know later.
Okay.
When I will.
Okay, I gotta hold it in my back pocket because I know those guys are watching. So if you're a bingo enjoyer, okay, I have not. Have I trash talked anybody today? I don't even. Not on purpose. Okay, never is on purpose.
You didn't have the chance to. Mace wasn't playing.
Damn. No check clipping. Anyway, let's watch Nightmare versus Redemption, because this is the potential redemption for one of these teams. Due to the fact that, Nightmare trying to do some interesting roster changes, obviously, like you mentioned, losing their boy Mace to the face, and then for the side of Redemption, I mean, this is, again, a brand new squad that have been playing well around the Mantis comp, so this is the first time I think of it we get to see. Also, Zuxo is playing really good on Luna Snow. This back line of Redemption has been really good, and then Adore is popping off too, so this should be a banger. A really fun series between two excellent teams. And starting off on Bernard Chala is a great map number 1.
No more mistakes available for any of these teams down in the lower bracket. Redemption, they don't need to redeem themselves from their previous game. They looked really good against DK Fan Club. But now, Nightmare, this is going to be an entirely different beast. Coming into this tournament, you probably wouldn't have expected to face either Nightmare or Equinox down in this lower bracket this early. A Redemption can maybe play spoiler here and send home one of our Ignite teams early in the tournament, but Light on the Bucky, showing us just how powerful Bucky can be when you hit hard.
Yeah, Light has been good on the Bucky so far for the tournament, that and the Daredevil, but he's going to have to keep this up, right? Bucky has been a mainstay as well, throughout. That's why in the last one, Wolverine or Bucky can be solid options in this sort of composition. They are very good, Nightmare that is, and kind of playing counter dive. It's odd because they'll switch it up. They'll play full dive sometimes when Impunity maybe doesn't feel as comfortable playing the Captain America and stuff with Light on the Daredevil. Has loved to play that Groot so far throughout, and the rest of the team likes to play slow too, so it's just a play style of Nightmare. But Adore tries to go for the hook through the smoke of all things. How can you even see everybody? And finally the smoke goes away and dissipates, but the dive comes through now. It's stunned out is Black Cat, but nobody falls just yet on Redemption's side.
Zaraxis really impressed us in the previous series from Redemption as well. As Impunity is able to get the open, he's going to follow up. Well, they are making this one look pretty easy. Nightmare at the moment. Redemption just haven't really been able to find their footing so far in this map, but sometimes that happens in round one. A little bit of adjustment to the pace of play, perhaps, with what Nightmare have been able to offer so far. So Redemption are going to have to try and answer back.
No, you're right. I mean, we saw 100-0 happen on this first one, and then they figured it out. Nightmare it is later on, but it is these sort of 100-0s that can happen on waterfall and stuff too. If this team knows exactly where to play, the more open maps, I still might favor them, but against the Black Cat, I'll have to see a little bit more to Zaraxis this dive to come through. Obviously, he's not going with anybody else, so he kind of does it by himself with the Loom Snowflake. Makes it tough to KO him, obviously, but ultimate's available now for the side of Nightmare.
Zaraxis find one, in and out. As Black Cat, but now being hunted down by Light. That's the one person you don't really want on your tail. And now actually it's SJW.
What?
Glartrox finds two. Adora is able to at least take down Magneto. So that does give them a chance here, but it looks like Nightmare now have gained control. Redemption falling apart, and this first round looks like it's going to go comfortably in their favor. I don't think there's going to be enough time to stall. No, there isn't. 1-0.
It was almost there. I mean, that cooldown's out. You got to keep in mind that for the next round. But yeah, excellent work. SJW's ultimate just ended it. Light's like, do I have anything else I have to do? Like, this guy just got two with his Glartrox, didn't get a Stratus ultimate that entire round. I mean, just great work out of Team Nightmare. Another 100-0 for them. Now we move to a more open map where, I mean, I still like their comp. The Black Cat stuff, I think in other hands, like Wada the last series could be solid. Zaraxis on his side at least isn't like dying a ton comparatively, but the peel job has been there for Redemption, or for Nightmare. They're playing excellently around this backline, and also they're playing the Loki too this time. So, I think due to the fact they're playing maybe the exact right heroes due to the ban phase, it feels a bit better. And so far, I mean, Nightmare, I still kind of favor them on this next round, despite all things. I just like this sort of counter dive composition, especially if they're playing it this well. And for Nightmare, or for Redemption, they've not been able to do the same with Zaraxis on these dive heroes.
I found the bingo card. You actually feature on it 3 times.
Why?
One of them is Dogman crashes out.
Oh no.
The other is Dogman goes off topic for no reason. Hey, there's always a reason, folks. Trust in the Dogman supremacy. Anyway, that's me going off topic, I guess. Is now SJW. Has been hitting hard on this Elsa. Just going to be communicating a good spot of the Venom as well, just to make sure there wasn't a surprise when that dive came in, as now Zaraxis switches over to the Daredevil, but it offers and bears no more fruit than the Black Cat had. And now for Nightmare, they have built up every ult you could want. Bar that Glartrox, and you're not even going to need it when you hit that hard just with the left click right now. Meteor M potentially going to add and rub salt into the wounds, which is exactly what happens as Redemption now have fallen.
Yeah, I mean, SJW is getting some fans after that game, after this game so far. Just due to the fact that that was a masterclass on Elsa. They also used ultimates. And this is, again, I was talking about, this is a more open map, and I don't know, now you're on the Venom and stuff. But the dive has to be good, and it's tough for a lot of these teams coming through MRC that maybe don't have a ton of practice on different compositions or whatever to fully get the maximum value out of these two heroes. Now, obviously, having to get off the Black Cat is kind of already, a bad sign. Really considering how strong Black Cat could be, but it's this Loki invis backline that is making it so hard to penetrate. Zaraxis just wants to play for that sort of ability, but what happens after that? You have to fall back.
Yeah, Nightmare have done very well at protecting that backline as well. Monster in particular on that Magneto, and again showing how important Magneto is to have on your team. SJW has built up that Glartrox that's going to be available alongside the abundance of ults they have now. They pick and choose how they want to win this fight. The invisible boundary is going to be the ultimate of choice as Light follows up with the KO. We are going to see a fate of both worlds from the side of Redemption just to try and stabilize here. Potentially recognizing that it was going downhill, but now actually the copy comes through from Nightmare to get a fate of both worlds on their side instead now. And they are just going to walk down Redemption and force them back to their spawn. Not looking good here for Redemption.
No, this is a great map out of them so far for Nightmare. I mean, they also have still the Groot ultimate if they want to even pick off one. Maybe you can get, like, an eat or something. But there's so much pressure now towards the choke point. Who's able to touch last second? 20% of the board. The trap's in the right way. They go to the left. They'll have time. Hook comes through, but the bubble's there to save them. Maybe that cooldown's going to matter. Wild Thing goes in, has Meteor M, could finally collapse on somebody. Maybe get that Invisible Woman's shield, because that could stop that Meteor M.
95%, let the devil out. And the Rage and Royal Flush are going to come through. It's now or never, really. Cracking Impact is also going to be there for a door and does connect with 2. So it looks like maybe Redemption are going to be able to gain this point and stay alive here on this map. Not just this round, but of course the map in general. As GRP is going to be taking down Fidel. The Venom doing the work, and this fight will fizzle out. Nightmare were unable to really stop just the sheer amount of ultimates that came their way. Rage and Royal Flush plus anything is always detrimental. But certainly alongside letting the devil out and the Kraken Impact.
Raxus is onto the Black Widow now, too, off of the Daredevil. Kind of like that, you know, especially on a map that's a bit longer range. But, you know, are they in too big of a deficit now? 99 to 0%, they finally claimed it back. Light has the ultimate. A door popped off for the last map to avoid the Strangling Prison, but he falls low.
Light applying that pressure again. Just chunking and takes down the opposition Bucky. And now, yes, okay, you've got Meteor M. Good positioning from Light, though, just to make sure he's not going to be whacked on the head. Zeraxis there, using Black Widow now to start to get a little bit of damage done. Gets the KO. JRP gets one as well. And it looks like Redemption are going to be able to hold on to this point, and Nightmare are going to have to reset. But they are going to reset with a lot of ults to play with. Kraken Impact they come back in with, as well as Glartrox, alongside a Visible Boundary. I mean, all the recipes and tools for success are going to be there for Nightmare to win this next fight.
And this would have to be a crazy choke job, I think, for Nightmare to lose this one. Like you said, I mean, JRP could go big with the Feast of the Abyss, but they're playing it so slow, and Zeraxis could find picks. I mean, if you get picked off before we even use ultimates, that could spell disaster for Nightmare.
Zeraxis just trying to spot and see if he can deal a little bit of damage from distance. This is what you were talking about, the extra poke you get from playing Black Widow. But now Nightmare start to make their charge. There will be Fate of Both Worlds on the other side, but the Glartrox, who does it connect with? Good work to try and delete that initially from a door, but Light still gets the opening pick, as now Fate of Both Worlds will be popped. But again, Kraken Impact is going to start to generate that a little bit of damage. But a door, he's hit it once before. Can he do it again and again? Doesn't quite connect. He does finally take down Light. Will get the reset, actually. But now with the Rage and Royal Flush, Nightmare are starting to ply all of the details they need into this next one. Monster finds a pick as well onto a door.
I don't know why I didn't press.
Falling away.
Oh, he didn't press Q again. Could he get a snipe shot? Nope. Crystals are out. Walks in the other one, too, so he's able to live. Zeraxis out of the ultimate charge, too, and Pity throws the Great Strength Prism on the back line. Does anybody fall after it, though? The answer is no. He gets grabbed by Wolverine!
Fantastic grab. The portal is just going to allow them to delay this one as well. Into overtime we go. And actually, the winner of this fight probably just wins the round in general, especially with one portal already being used. Actually, looks like both portals have been used now. You're going to see both Doctor Stranges in. Meteor M, if you can connect with one on the backline here, it could be huge for you, but SJW comes in now. Takes down the first. Light follows up with the second. And Redemption are falling in a 6 versus 4. This one should go comfortably in Nightmare's favor. They do force them away from the point, and Nightmare will take second round and the first map. And they were able to just deny Redemption the chance of being able to wrestle that one back.
Oh my god, I felt the nerves through my screen when that one. My god, I was just Zeraxis POV on the high ground trying to do something. They were just, unfortunately, in too big of a deficit to come back. And this guy on your screen right now is the guy to sort of capitalize on most situations. Only had one death that entire map. Excellent work out of SJW and the team to play around him. But damn, I mean, that was still kind of close towards the very end. And I guess this is kind of what happened to Nightmare in the first series as well that we saw from them today. Is that second round, like that was the one where they started to kind of let the map slip away from them. But now, you know, it's an excellent map to play the Elsa. You know, obviously prioritize that hero, the Protect, and then the ban. Worked out for them so far. Same thing with the Loki. So really good job, I think, out of this backline. I credit them, I think, in the neutral. I feel like this backline, Pain and Fidel, have really good neutral fights. And, you know, maybe they just have to work on synergy with ultimates, but they're obviously very mechanically skilled at the right moment. It was a great work from Nightmare, but they'll have to keep it up. They'll have to maintain their current pace if they want to win the series.
19,000 damage in the end for SJW. I mean, 16k from Monster. Again, showing why Magneto is such an oppressive hero at the moment as well. Good damage blocked from both sides for both of those Vanguards, and then of course we saw the switch from Light just to make sure that we've got the portal in. He wasn't playing Doctor Strange throughout the entirety. It was the Bucky work, in fact, from Light, which was so impressive on their side. I mean, even in the replays, it was the initial picks time and time again from Light. Seems to not matter whether he's on dive or whether he's on a little bit of poke or brawl. He can seem to do it all, can Light.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Bucky, that hero right now, just with the buffs, with the Elsa team up's just crazy. His character already just shoots meatballs, so it's like it's not even that hard of a hero, to be honest. But compared to others, I think. But regardless, it's so good, this patch. I mean, like, it can catch up to Wolverine. Like, we talked about how good Wolverine was in the previous patch too. But the fact that your cooldowns get reduced with the new team up with Elsa, it just makes it crazy. So that character can pump out incredible amounts of damage. And you saw, I think, towards the very end, Impunity didn't go down too. Like in the previous series, we saw Impunity die, I think, in some of those situations. Really good invisible boundary towards the very end. You can see this team slowly improving, getting better on this group composition throughout the series.
I do think we're going to see a very different meta right now to what we see when we get to the mid-season finals, for example, as well, when teams have had even more time to strategize, scrim, and try and work out what's good, what's bad. And also not to disrespect the MRC teams, there is always going to be a slight difference in approach for some of these teams that are ranked grinders as well. And you almost have to think about that when you're getting into the lock and ban phase. It is far more detrimental for some of these MRC teams to lose certain heroes compared to the top pros when we do get to mid-season finals, right? Because those top pros just have a far deeper pool, a better knowledge when it comes to a lot of those heroes to be able to play as well. As we do move into said lock and ban phase, and that is an instant ban onto Elsa. Redemption saying, all right, we see the problem here. Let's get her out of here ASAP.
Yeah, that's very interesting. They go for the Gambit Protect on the opposite side. I kind of like the idea versus specifically Nightmare, just because in the past they have not shown the best, sort of Mantis comps. But it's still letting Mantis through, right? Like, I guess that's the trade-off. And you have time to work with. Like, that's what we talked about earlier with the fact that, you do get to play best out of 5 instead of the BO3s. So, if you were to lose this map, you can still come back. And we almost saw the reverse sweep happen in that upper bracket match earlier with Equinox, but it didn't. However, you at least buy yourself some time to experiment. But sometimes experiments, especially the failed ones, can turn out disastrous for some of these top rosters.
In the end, they opted to go for the Loki Protect rather than the Mantis Protect, even though having the option to keep her as they would like.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think that says a lot about Loki and how powerful people feel that Loki is as well. I just think the ability you have to copy any ultimate just gives you that option, or so many options. The variety of options you can have to counter what everyone else is doing as well, I just think is why Loki is such an important factor to your lineup if you're going to add it. Nightmare also recognizing how Elsa can run and control the game, so they're also going to be banning it away from Redemption. Again, as they had in the previous. The group ban is an interesting one for me. They want to make sure that there's not going to be any group. They could have opted to ban the Magneto if they would have liked, but perhaps when they look at Midtown, they feel like maybe the group would be a problem.
Yeah, I think it's fine too, because Impunity is shown to play a ton of Groot. Captain America, maybe they think is more manageable. But they get the Magneto Protect too. So again, we saw that last one. You pointed it out. Now we get to see 2 Magnetos on the field yet again. And then the Daredevil ban onto Nightmare, making sure that Light doesn't get to play that hero. Would rather have him on Bucky, resulting in a counter group ban. So towards the very end, both teams respecting each other's roots. But this is definitely a fun series and an interesting one between both teams. I'm kind of with you on the Loki stuff. Also, Loki, as a hero, is just kind of crazy. The fact that you get a literal invulnerability that heals you, get 3 of them like that, that's just not balanced. Immortality is a little bit, might be a little busted. Might be a little crazy. The character has to be really bad in terms of left click healing to be not very good. That's how strong Loki is. That ability is his own ultimate, pretty much.
I do think it's very important to have someone on your roster that can play Loki, even though Loki was getting banned a lot and sometimes wouldn't even feature. Now, even more so with the team ups, becomes a must need to have someone who has it in their back pocket. So we'll have to see how Nightmare are going to be able to use this Loki here on the side of Pain. Are we going to see a trip strapped with the Loki? It looks like it's being teed up at the moment, or at least what I can see. Sorry, you can't see it at stream. At the moment, we're just looking at the beautiful pictures of Midtown. One of my favorite maps, I will say. I've always enjoyed it. This first choke is a very fun one to play, especially if you're on the defensive side. Sometimes if you're on the offensive side and you get held out, it can be a very miserable experience. We'll have to see whether Redemption can maybe just break through here.
This is going to be a hard map to do it, especially against the teams that were formerly of Ignite, you know, squads, and then also playing Penny Parker stuff. This is where a lot of the, you know, sort of pug teams falter, is against comps like this, but not in this case. The damage boost is enough to get rid of Monster. Also no Rocket Raccoon to BRB Monster into this fight. Nice job with the damage boost to find the KO.
Trip. It's the 3 strat, 3 Vanguard for Nightmare at the moment. Can you break down and make sure you deny these spider nests? It looks like they were able to find them nice and early as the fist gets slammed into Magneto, and Redemption have been able to force Nightmare quite far back. Nightmare probably going to switch things up now because they've not been able to hold on that initial choke, and they're struggling a little bit. You can see SJW has already moved over to Black Widow. They just need a little bit more damage output here. Adore has also moved on to that Storm as well, and now you're going to see Wolverine getting involved. When Thing is going to be there, sometimes you just want someone who can just rip him to shreds.
We'll come back on the Black Widow to try to counter the Storm, and you find 2. Excellent work from SJW. Able to take down Zeraxis as well. So that switch up might be enough for them later on. Stagger KO is going to come through onto the Wild Thing. And you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left to go. Redemption do have the copy available at the very least for their attack. Door also makes the switch over to the Deadpool. They want to switch off that counter, you know, triple Vanguard composition, whereas you have SJW able to deal with the, you know, Storm earlier, forcing Zeraxis now to switch over to the Bucky. Copy comes out from Zuxa early.
And there's that copy that you were talking about as well. It's actually going to be onto Raging Royal Flush. They're going to have 2 Raging Royal Flushes if they need them to break through at this point. The only ult on the other side is going to be Black Widow until now. Invisible Boundary is up at just the perfect time, but is it a little bit too late here? Psionic Seduction is going to be used as well from the Emma on the side of Redemption to try and bring out some of these Vanguards. There's the second Raging Royal Flush, as Redemption now surely use this to their advantage to be able to force Nightmare away. Maybe there's going to be a last-ditch attempt, and actually, yeah, there is. The Karmic Revival is there at the perfect time as well for Nightmare now.
Yeah, but they're going to have to be in the Bucky. This ultimate's coming up in a second. I mean, you've seen how disgusting the Kraken Impact can be against the Karmic Revival.
Visible Boundary down. It's come out. I mean, the timing has been so fortunate, or maybe just perfect timing from Nightmare to get these out one by one and deny the amount of pressure that Redemption were putting on. And now that ult has come out from Black Widow as well. Can you hit any of those snipe shots? Yes, you can. Redemption down to 4, and they've been able to force Redemption back here. And with 1 minute 13 left on the clock, so much committed from Redemption. You start to ask yourself, are they going to even be able to get to this first point? Because now Nightmare are going to have an advantage in this ult economy. Penny Parker is going to have ult available, and also its clobbering time is going to be there too.
I completely forgot. Like, I forgot that the Zeraxis, you know, I was like, oh, he's going to pop the Kraken Impact, but then I realized he's against Penny Parker, and he just can't go. Like, if he does, he gets blown up instantly. So, you know, this Penny Parker pick is showing to be incredibly fruitful from Impunity, even though he went down in the previous fight, got Karmic Revival, and then, you know, you couldn't go forward with the Kraken Impact until those mines are gone, or at least he can't go as aggressive as maybe he wants.
Still has it in his back pocket, though. He's probably screaming to the team to try and take down these spider nests. But there is potentially 2 of them, thanks to the Rocket Raccoon team-up. Redemption are able to actually force Nightmare away a little bit here and gain control, almost gain control of this cart. The Nightmare do have ults available, and there is the mines that are now starting to come out from Penny. And if you thought that the spider nests were already annoying, the ult is going to be even more so. Clobbering Time also comes out, gets the stuns. The stuns plus the mines could be huge, but Kraken Impact does find 1. Adore's going to come in and follow up with a second of his own. And with time against them, the Invisible Boundary is now there at the perfect time. Nightmare have timed this perfectly on their ults.
They absolutely have, and everybody's brought in by Wild Thing, and no KOs because the healing is so good. Excellent work from the Invisible Woman of Fidel. Ultimate's committed, though, from SJW on the right side. Takes out Zuxa as well on the Gambit. The cart's close to getting capped out. Adore finds 1. Yotsu with another one. And SJW has to play slow, has to duck around the corner, kicks the Deadpool into his own bubble, and is able to live last second to get some healing. But the portal's here. Zeraxis finds 1. Pain goes down on the flank, and IJRP also finds Impunity.
Oh, Light switches over to Spidey and says, see you later to JRP, and that's going to be another one to Zeraxis and Spidey on Spidey action as both teams desperately trying to scramble to the point in overtime here. Nightmare gained the advantage. And for Redemption now, they are a player down here, but there again, the Spider-Man will find the Gambit. Yutsu is going to be deleted so quickly, but now the portal does come out once more. It's a very elongated fight here, but it is still favoring Nightmare at the moment. Redemption just clinging on to this one, but that might be the beginning of the end as 4 KOs in a row. Nightmare will deny Redemption on that first point. And even though Redemption, they were so close, you thought they'd have it. It was the timings on those ultimates for Nightmare that was huge.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, that was cinema. That was sick at the end, seeing Spider-Man on Midtown fly around on both sides. And then, obviously, the broken, absolutely disgusting Venom team-up coming out of the light to find those KOs. SJW doing a great job, too, living. I mean, that was beautiful work around the ambulance side to just run around, play his own life, and use the cooldowns at the right time. So, excellent job out of him. But, you know, that was just a really good defensive hold. I think, like, overall, the Penny Parker was the biggest thing. You know, it was just a thorn in the side of the Bucky's brains, dude. Like, he tried to go in with Crack and Impact, couldn't, slowed down. It's those small, you know, split-second decisions. You know, if you have to hesitate, you have to actively think you're going to already be behind. So, obviously, you could see the muscle memory maybe had to get changed even, like, just by a second, resulting in hesitation.
Get ready.
It was already hard enough to take down one of the Spider Nests from Penny, but being able to have 2 with the Rocket Raccoon team up, just insane, really. Especially one of them getting the armor and popping out even more armor packs as well.
I'm still not used to. By the way, I'm still not used to like when you say team up. Like I'm not used to the fact that like there's sometimes that you're not getting the enhanced team up. You know, it's like I like oh yeah, Rocket Raccoon's not in the game, but there's still a team up because of how the team ups were reworked.
I mean, they're probably thankful because the enhanced team up then allows the second Spider Nest to regenerate health. So even if you are able to get a couple of shots on it, it regenerates health if you're not able to take it down there and then. But now, on the other side, we have to see Redemption defend here. Nightmare just need to get to that first point, and they will be 2-0 up in this series and one step closer to progressing in this lower bracket as Light rips through again. And again, you know, it's another Rocket Raccoon team-up. But then it's not an enhanced team-up. You don't even need it because the infinite ammo is just huge for you. The extra fire rate just provides that little bit of extra oomph and firepower you need.
It is tough because I think a lot of these 3-3 comps, you know, they used to play like a little bit of Rocket Raccoon and stuff, but obviously, you know, they want to play that Loki stuff, you know, play around Madam Warlock, and not able to build up fast in terms of ultimate charge. In that case, this cart is still pushing forward. Wild Thing finds one in SJW, however. No Pain. Good job bobbing and weaving, and the AT comes through, rather the vulnerability comes through onto the Magneto from the Thing, and they're able to get even more damage down range. Set away Redemption, who is just stalling out the cart as long as they could.
We just gotta get to Avengers Tower.
To switch over to Wild Thing, making sure he's got the Strange Portal here. And we saw how elongated the fight was previously at this point, but Wild Thing is taking his time onto this portal. He wants to be able to place this one to, of course, stop that cart in its spot, but also give them a little bit of protection behind the portal as well. The question is, can anyone find the opener? Because you are going to see Nightmare have the first option. The Rage of Royal Flush comes out, and now they can continue to charge forward here. Oh, but that is a nice deletion of the Punisher. You needed that.
Excellent shot from Zaraxis. Flows through the sky. Also finds the stagger on impunity as well. Coming through SJW, trying to turn it, though, with the Gambit Ultimate. Can he find the shot? Finds one. Another goes down. 3 have fallen in reverse. Monster, could he end it with the Meteor M? Yes, he finds Wild Thing. The portal, maybe to come late too, has to switch for somebody else out of spawn because the res from Zaraxis isn't even here. He's saving it for next map at this rate. Nightmare, they've won 2-0 or 1-0.
2-0.
I mean, it felt inevitable, really, with the hold that we saw from Nightmare previously. It was going to be very difficult for Redemption to try and do exactly the same thing. Right from the rip, it was just the sheer amount of presence that Punisher can offer, especially in the hands of Light. Getting that infinite ammo team up from the Rocket Raccoon. And being able to just delete some of that back line as well. I mean, delete some of the front line. It felt like the Vanguards just weren't able to stay up. And the strategists were really struggling to be able to heal the amount of damage that was incoming here. And Nightmare, they take a 2-0 lead, Doc.
Yeah, absolutely great work out of Nightmare, and this is what we were mentioning earlier about the difficulty of being an MRC team playing on Convoy Convergence instead of Domination. It's just the teamwork required on these type of maps can be kind of hard to come by. Now, I say that, and SJW was just kind of put on a masterclass, too, the whole time. I mean, this has been an excellent series out of him. Nightmare, or Monster as well. Monsters have had a really good series. Impunity's timings, too, on the thing have been nice. The follow-up damage is there, so, yeah, I mean, you can see why they're prioritizing the Loki stuff so much. I still maybe am wondering how they're going to do if more teams try the strategy where they allow kind of Mantis to go through against them, because maybe there's some holes there, but it's very interesting. I like how this team is trying to deviate away from playing hard Mantis stuff like other teams are. You know, maybe this is, for a lot of teams, a better composition for them.
Like I said, it gives you that versatility and those options with that Loki, and yeah, a pleasure to watch. It did feel like with that first round with Nightmare holding, the ults came at just the perfect time over and over again. Like, they were able to get the first one out, delay, get a second one out, delay, and then eventually the third one was just too much. But we are, of course, still going to go into some more games. Before we get there, we're going to head for a quick break, allow Dogman and I to grab a glass of water. Maybe you should hydrate as well. We'll be back shortly after this.
Prehistoric protection!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Marvel Rivals Relegations into Ignite, or qualifiers, whatever you want to call it. 2-0 is Nightmare right now against Redemption, who, well, now in this case, do have to redeem themselves, Gaskin. And the first two maps, I think, did edge towards Nightmare, and they're looking a lot better, I think, even than the series earlier, right? It was, quick 2-0. They're looking a little bit more gelled and synergized. What's kind of your take so far been of these two squads, and maybe Nightmare specifically, from these last two to kind of keep on the positive sort of train?
Yeah, I think they both have those clutch factors. They both got players that can win those duels. Because sometimes, well, with the neutral being slightly extended in this patch, you do need to rely on those players that can just hit those shots. And it sounds very simple, but if you can get that one pick, especially onto a strategist, that can win that fight for you. It gives you the ult advantage going into the next one. It can give you a whole round, perhaps, depending on how you're actually going to play it out. Like, how many times have we seen these elongated neutral fights that just comes down to one person having that pop-off moment? And it's not always just hitting your shots as a duelist. Sometimes as a Vanguard, you've got the opportunity to do so. Magneto with his Chaos Sword, for example. And the strategist. Like, you can't afford to miss, it feels like, as a strategist with your healing ability. If you're playing Luna, for example, you better be making sure you're hitting those shots. Otherwise, you're going to see your Vanguards fall very quickly indeed. We do get into the lock and ban then for map 3 between Redemption and Nightmare. Can we see Redemption get back into it, or will Nightmare make this a 3-0 sweep?
Ban phase changes up a little bit, going over to Hall of Jalia. They go for that first Mantis ban, on the side of Redemption this time, not going for the, potential opportunity of leaving it open. Maybe to just stick to their own game plan of ban phase, maybe not think of what Nightmare is going to try to do and allow stuff to go through. I mean, both teams showing the Magneto so far, like you talked about earlier. Neither team really trying to force out the ban phase. This time it's that low-key prioritization because of what Nightmare were doing, I suppose, in the previous maps.
Yeah, so Nightmare are going to be able to have Gambit comfortably here. Loki is going to be the ban, though. So they said, look, we've seen enough of Loki. They do manage to get the Elsa ban through as well. So even though Nightmare have been playing so well with the Elsa, they don't feel like it is a worthy lock. And I think that also tells you a lot when you look back at the instant Elsa ban in the previous. Was that a mistake? Should you perhaps have been prioritizing banning either the Gambit or the Mantis, which seem to be the two most difficult heroes to go up against, or apparently Loki as the third to follow up? This is where the locks and bans can get a little bit more interesting, though, towards the end of it. Again, we are going to see Magneto being protected on the side of Nightmare. Venom is going to be taken away. Now, Venom is another Vanguard that I think, if played correctly in this meta, is one of the most difficult to go up against. So I think Redemption are recognizing that from Nightmare and saying, we don't want to allow that to happen.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I think that is going to matter in sort of the overarching scheme of this map onto Hall of Jalia. So considering, like you said, I mean, these dive comps have been really good earlier. We've seen a ton of Namor, Hella stuff, and, that could potentially come through. I guess we haven't seen a lot of just one. But we've seen a lot more Bucky in this series, too. I'm curious what Nightmare are going to play. Last time it was the Daredevil ban later on, and this time it's the counter Loki bans that come through alongside that Venom that you said, allowing Light to either play the Black Cat if he wanted to, or the Daredevil. Although, I don't know, both teams maybe have shied away from playing a little bit more Black Cat recently and have been prioritizing other types of heroes in this case. And obviously, SJW's been playing really good on the Black Widow. It's available, by the way, for Redemption. They just not wanted to play it.
Should have taken a print screen. I should be taking snapshots of the team-ups that they are choosing at the start of the game. I know they can change them.
Yeah, we got to make it more obvious.
Would be something that perhaps can be added to the UI. I will report it. But I do think that Redemption have done really well in the lock and ban phase here. This looks like a lot better for them. I do think that now, on the side of Nightmare, it's going to be eyes on Light, on that Daredevil. Can Light continue to do Light things and be able to get behind enemy lines and deny, dive onto them? Or now with Redemption having a door, he was hovering. There was a Namor hover for a while, but it looks like it is going to be the Hela in the end. And we have already seen, actually, on this map, the Hela can be so good against some of the dive. And it is going to be an instant portal off the rip as well, which we've seen a lot of today.
Well, let's get off to the races as the Redemption do that. Start with the portal flank. Fidel sitting in invis, hiding and waiting, kind of. In the meantime, it's pitting over to that Vanguard Deadpool this time around. We've seen the value of it so far, and still one of the best characters in the game, basically, throughout this, since his release, basically. At least the Vanguard pool has been so consistent. Xeraxis is the one on the attack Namor, but can he find anybody squishy? At least Light goes in with the bubble. Gets the KO too. A door falls early on. Nice job from him. Gets frozen, though. Nice job from Zuxa, showing up like he did on the previous map.
It was 5v5 temporarily. And Nightmare doing their best to try and hold on here. Again, that Black Widow, a lot of responsibility for the damage output, but it's Pain in the end who gets the opener on their side. Daredevil's going to have, as well, nice and early. Unity's been doing really well at just being able to play a lot of variety when it comes to the heroes as well that he plays. Light goes down once more, so Light has not been able to find the success here. I think this is going to be such an integral part for Redemption at finding any form of victory here. It has to be shutting down Light over and over again.
Yeah, and if they can keep doing it, we'll eventually secure this point, but the secure of the point from Monster has been crazy. The healing coming through. Nice job to bubble off a little bit of the damage, but no. Azor's hitting all the shots in the world, but no KOs found just yet. The healing output has been crazy. Same thing with the movement from the Vanguards. One tick is given, but no KOs found. Shredder's ult's coming up in a moment. GRP flies through the back line. Just a little bit of a cosmetic Angela. In that case, they come back through with the Gambit ultimate. Have to break the squids, but there's a whale. Slows down the aggression, but no KOs found just yet from the defensive side from Nightmare.
Almost got that third tick now, and here's where the ult starts to come through. Raging Royal Flush It was there. I thought it was about to be popped, but it was instantly denied. So Redemption are going to drop 2. Nightmare will be able to stabilize, and they will be able to hold just at the 2 ticks on the notches now as Light and Monster continue to be aggressive. They pummel down Redemption. Nightmare will be able to hold. 1 minute and 34 now on the clock for Redemption to try and take this first point.
And maybe they got to wait for everybody to get back up again. No stagger, KOs, and this could be the end of it for Redemption for sure. I mean, like right now, they just have to go aggressive with ultimates. Nightmare did use both of their Shroud ults, but the Meteor M could shut everything down from the side of Monster as they could deal with the aggression from Yatsu. JRP2 has to find a little bit more value on this. Angela shut down a little bit of what SJW has been doing so far. Door off to Helen now over to that Bucky. Looks to try to get some more value on a different character, build up that impact. He also team up.
Slams home onto a door. Nightmare doing very well to hold now. Redemption backs against the wall. I think they have to retreat away from this one once more. Question is, are they going to have the portal available again? They did do it right off the rip, so you'd imagine they are going to have the time here.
Yeah.
But who's going to make that switch?
If somebody has to do it, I mean, no time left either. Wild Thing does have the Meteor M still to go. I mean, they might not have the cooldown up, so they have to walk. The long walk of shame, in this case, as Redemption and crew, I mean, they have ultimates finally. So this is going to be a good fight for them, surely, except Pain close to that Gambit. JRP, I feel like he's, like I said, has been cosmetic this map. I mean, it's just, I feel like the value's not really been there. SJW just runs into a Magneto. That's got to hurt. Goes back to spawn.
Well, they've been able to walk in, they've been able to get their touch, and they're actually finding the KOs to follow up. As the door now is going to work in tandem with the Angela, and now the Kraken Impact can start to pummel. I don't know if Magneto's going to fall quick enough, though, so probably not going to get the reset just yet. But Redemption are able to gain control of the point just, but now here comes the portal from Nightmare. It is a last chance to try and break through, but I think they are too staggered, and yes, they are. So Redemption just about tick this one over, and they get time added to the clock. 2 minutes 20 now to start to move towards second point.
I really just wonder what SJW was thinking in that previous fight. Like, there was a game plan, obviously. Maybe they just wanted to go aggressive with, like, the anti-heal from the reduction in healing from the Gambit. But regardless, he just got smoked. Like, walked straight into Wild Thing, resulting in that fight slowly dwindling out of their favor. And now in the second phase, having to try to contest for the high ground is going to be tough. Zaraxis also has figured out to just play the Black Widow, like SJW has been doing so. Both kind of dealing with each other. The high ground, the walls have already been deleted too, allowing maybe this defense to secure it over here. But no, the shots from Zaraxis have been clean. Impunity goes down. Oh no, that's kind of what we saw earlier. Whenever Nightmare were to lose, it was Impunity that did fall. Door also goes for the uppercut onto his counterpart in the light, smokes him, sends him to the corner, and deletes him. That's 2 in the fight so far. Also looking for the sniper shots cross map is Zaraxis. But if you find even more stagger picks, this could be absolutely deadly for Nightmare, as we're already through the second phase. It feels like it just started.
Rage Royal Flush does come out, though. And they are going to be aggressive off the back of it, just to try and force them back. Nightmare trying to cling on to what they can, but they can't cling on enough. And now they have 2 minutes 30 suddenly to Redemption, and they are looking pretty fancy at the moment. A door working alongside the Luna here to deny light. And the stagger is going to be really big for Redemption. 2 minutes 20 is a good amount of time here, Dog, to go into this last point.
So magnificent.
Yeah, it is. We saw teams even get to this last point with no time left at the bank. But, you know, how many teams have we seen fully cap out on this map? So, you know, it's always a very, very difficult attack, I think, on this third phase. Second phase, sometimes you can snowball through. First point can be kind of a choke point for sure, but this is usually where teams kind of make their money, sort of like the third down for quarterbacks in football. As the Meteor M comes through on the opposite side, SJW flanks it, waits out the engage, does take some damage, but lives. Light, he still gets found by Zaraxis, though.
360 no-scope, just trying to put on a little bit of a show for us now. Gambit never falls, but we are going to see the Rage and Royal Flush just be too much for Redemption to handle at the moment. And they're going to have to back off away from this one. But like I said, they have time. Don't have to worry too much about risking things here and now. Instead, it's about making sure you don't stagger too much. So actually dying quickly here is not the end of the world. 1 minute and 14 on the clock. Redemption do have ults to work with. I'm excited for this push. I think Redemption have looked really good on this map.
Yeah, they have. And I think it's... The second phase was just awful from Nightmare. I mean, that's why Light was over to the Daredevil now, but with impunity onto the Captain America. Just felt like Adore was able to find way more value on the Bucky so far with those grapples. And then JRP was able to kind of fly around and just be a nuisance. Now that it's a little more open, 50 seconds left to go. It's going to be a great fight for Nightmare to win, but a lot of poke damage coming through from Wild Thing. Falls low. There's the Bucky ult, but no actual KOs are found. Light is CC'd and stunned. But you need to find a kill on the attack right now as Zuxa pops the Luna Snow dance for it. Nightmare is still holding on to everything. Fidel's so late with the ult. I wonder why.
Down to 30 seconds.
A lot of Qs, that's what... all that matters really at this point. Dance Floor is going to start to fade away, and it is actually going to be, in the end, it's going to be the Luna who gets the opening pick. Adore follows up with one of their own, so Redemption have done very well. Can you connect here as the Black Widow? Yes, you can. And Redemption are in a 6 versus 2. Now, mind, they do still have to push this quite some way, so Nightmare are going to be able to get off spawn here. Maybe a little bit of a stagger, potentially. No, they are able to reset and retreat. But they can start to bully back on this choke point. They just have to make sure they continue to touch point here, Redemption. Nightmare with one last chance to try and deny.
Surrounded at the moment. You still have ults, but Strat ults are out on the table. Here comes the Meteor M. Can you dodge it? Monster connects on a Zuxa. Too much pressure from the Captain America. Bubble's also used. Counter Meteor M. Has a counter bubble, but that's eventually going to run out. That might have been too early. Here comes the Meteor M. Doesn't connect, though, so that's huge for the defense.
SJW into ult again. Can you hit any of these snipe shots? Yes, you can. Adore is ripped away from the lobby. Wild Thing's going to be the second one to follow. And if you wondered if Black Widow's ultimate is any good, well, in the right hands, boy, can it be. As Nightmare will hold Redemption to just 2. I say just 2. It was still pretty far for Redemption, but at least Nightmare do not allow the full 3.
Switch things up.
Yeah, sadly for Nightmare, I mean, the same mistakes that they've been making are kind of coming out, right? Like we just saw towards the very end. It was just indecisiveness out of either Fidel, Monster, whoever, to just pop an ultimate to help sustain. I think Impunity also had Captain America ult, but they were a little bit too late. Just cost them. I mean, obviously they won the round, right? But it's like you said, you can get towards the very end of this map and still not cap it, and that's good. Like you potentially gave yourself a chance here, considering first point was going so poorly for Redemption. The fact that they snowballed in second phase was also beautiful work out of Zaraxis and Adore. Adore, I think, put on a really good performance on Bucky, but that third phase was really a great comeback from a Nightmare towards the end with Monster specifically. I think Monster's actually had a very good series so far. And we'll see if they can keep it up on their attack. It's going to be difficult in the first point, but a lot of these teams maybe aren't prepared for Nightmare's first point attacks as they go for that portal play first, usually from Impunity, and switch over to Captain America. We'll see how the back line decides to play it, because Zuxa, I think, was really good when uncontested, but ever since that they've been pressuring Zuxa, it's not been as beautiful out of Redemption's back line.
I suppose it's nice to know that even you have standards.
How is the hold now for Redemption? I mean, we've seen how good Nightmare can be at breaking setups, particularly through Light on that Daredevil. That being said, Redemption were able to deal with Light in the previous, but it's a little bit different when you are on the attack, because you can just find those strategies sometimes a little bit out of position. Again, it's going to be the early portal, which seems to be the game plan for every team here. Just allows you to get behind, and then again switch off the Strange, and then you hope that you have the portal back for a little bit later. And it's going to be the Captain America as the choice of the switch over. But now from this position, Zaraxis absolutely destroys Light.
I mean, oh my god, you didn't even see his third shot. It was just a headshot. Boom. See you back to spawn, buddy. And luckily, this team for Nightmare, they've been used to what's been going on with Light. That's kind of his job. You know, same thing with Wada in the previous series. You know, these sort of melee specialists, their entire point is just to, buy space, buy pressure. In that case, it wasn't for very long, but still kind of maybe job done. I don't know. Zarax is just kind of going off right now.
He impressed us in the previous, and he continues to impress us here in the third map against Nightmare, and they need someone to step up if they want to keep this series going, as SJW goes down on the Black Widow, so it's going to be advantage again for Redemption having the extra player on the map. Weird fight that's happening with the positioning that Nightmare have found themselves here. They're a little bit cornered, and I think Redemption have realized that, and they do take advantage of it. Fidel's going to be the next one to go down. And Nightmare now are just retreating with their tails between their legs. They are going to be staggered slightly, and Redemption have been able to pass task number 1 and number 2, as Nightmare are going to have to rethink their approach now.
That's the tough part when you go for those portal plays early. That first fight takes so long. You're already 2 minutes off the clock. It was just like one fight. At least with the ultimates, they've looked good. Sometimes, with the Gambit ult specifically. But, you know, whenever we see a door pop off onto Black Widow, it's impressive. Then for Zaraxis, he's got Kraken Impact. You know, what do they do about it for Nightmare's side? Can they set up a solid dive, remove Zaraxis before Zuxa can get that invisible boundary? Or JRP kind of create space, maybe find a pick off for the team. Everybody's hit by Kraken Impact right now, by the way, but no resets come through, meaning Zaraxis' ult, maybe he's going to go to waste. Gambit ult also committed, but no KOs found. Invisible boundary to keep everybody up, but do we have the damage through it just yet? Monster, he comes through with the Meteor M. Can we find the KO in the middle of it? Shields used. No KO found. JRP flying like a fighter jet in the sky, chases down SJW. Meteor M rendered in last second, but doesn't connect regardless. SJW finds one. Impunity with another on the Zuxa. SJW does go down, and the Gambit is committed to force out Lunasto's dance floor.
Yeah, this is the chance now for Nightmare to break here. They are going to force Redemption all the way off of point. So much so that no one from Nightmare is currently trying to take this because Redemption have been able to find one player to flank around and try and deny. Wild Thing is going to be there as the delayer. Yotsu goes down as well. Finally, they start to take over, but that delaying has allowed now for the strange switch from a door. Nightmare are very much prepared for it, though. They do have the chance to just wait a little bit to allow all 6 players to be back up. Wild Thing right back in.
What?
And removes Pain from the lobby just as easy as that. Freedom Charge has to come through just to try and keep Nightmare alive now. Let the Devil out. Also going to follow up on this one. Can Light connect with anything to try and put this in favor of Nightmare? Or are we going to see Redemption win this one out? Just 2-0. Because time is not really on their side. 35 seconds left for Nightmare. And Zaraxis has now found himself in a position where he can take down Light. And he's got the Kraken Impact as well. Oh,
he does get it. SJW, yeah, he just shuts him down with everybody else. That was, oh, goodness, man. Like, Nightmare is coming so close to losing every single time, but clutch up at the very, very end. Sometimes they look a little bit lost, but they're able to kind of close out there. 3 minutes in the second phase, man. I mean, maybe in the second phase they can keep up the pressure, kind of do what Redemption did on their attack. They just kind of make and find these stagger KOs. There's almost the clutch job there by, you know, Zaraxis and crew, but it's, again, SJW comes through with the rest of the squad and Monster with the KO.
How nice is it, by the way, to see Black Widow on both teams, and it's not a throw pick, as the rework has been, I think, well received by the most of the community. I know there were some Black Widow mains who were a little bit upset about it, but I'm sure they'll adjust when they realize that now no one's going to be complaining at you in your games. As Raging Royal Flush is going to be there, and it is going to be popped now by Redemption as they try and force back Nightmare. But Nightmare have replies of their own. Meteor M is now going to be there and up in the sky. Can you connect with anyone? It's slammed down onto the mirror. Magneto. And SJW still has ult available as well. So Nightmare still pressing forward. It was this transition phase Redemption did very well with in the previous. But are we going to get into a similar situation as we did in our last series, where we get down to that final point where Equinox were unable to just push through? As Nightmare, they're going to have 3 minutes to try and do the same.
SJW gets taken down by Wild Thing. Like you said, 3 minutes. They're in the third phase, so they actually just gave up the cart there. We're continuing on now. I mean, they were going to win this fight potentially too for Redemption's side, and unfortunately didn't touch. So excellent work out of Nightmare also to kind of hold on to ultimate, zone out the back line. And this is always going to be worrisome. I just feel like in the Black Widow 1v1 so far, I like Adore, but I mean, SJW has been putting on a good performance. Also, Monster's target selection has been nice. Upcoming fight ultimates available as well for both of Nightmare's strategists compared to Redemption. They're going to commit this Gambit ult just a moment, I imagine, but early dive from Impunity finds the backline before they can even commit any strat ults, resulting in a pretty easy team fight win. Very aggressive hold for Redemption, doesn't pan out, but at least they get a little bit more time off the clock. You talked about it's a big deal in the macro terms of the overarching game.
I do think actually with that hold being so high up, it did kind of even out the time a little bit here for Redemption, because they had slightly less time to work with on this final push. And they do so now with a lot of ultimates still available to them, and the first one to be popped will be Black Widow. Can Adore maybe do the job for the rest of the team and find some of this backline so they don't have to use any of the other ults? The answer is going to be no. So we might have to look to someone else, as now Raging Royal Flush for Nightmare alongside Black Widow ult of their own. But the answers are going to be there on the side of Redemption. They can have the dance floor to come out. Wild Thing actually connects with the Black Widow in the end. The Chaos Sword doing the damage. And Yotsu managing to take down Monster. Nightmare having to back off a little bit. Doesn't look like they're going to have the ability to sustain, as Redemption have done very well to hold off here at this point. But as I say that, Fidel and Impunity work together to find two of their own. And this is such a back and forth swing fight. And in the end, Nightmare do control it.
As the damage from SAW, I think he was able to kind of help peel that off. Everybody falls back now. JRP, if they go down, wow, that's aggressive. Are you kidding? From the Black Widow. They finally actually peel it off, so nobody goes down. That was an insane play from the Black Widow of Nightmare. Light is the one to fall, though, somehow, in that fight. 50 seconds left to go. Grab from JRP is brought away from the Captain America. Excellent job of JRP to seclude Pain into that corner and force out the Luna Store last second.
Yeah, forcing out the Luna ult could be big here for Redemption. Light does switch over to Spider-Man so he can join the battle quickly, and not only joins the battle, but also gets a KO in their favor. Redemption, the Wild Thing again, picking off the Black Widow. Those Chaos Swords have been to the detriment of Black Widow for sure. SJW, I'm sure, will be very frustrated in the amount of Chaos Swords that have come out, as now Redemption do gain control at this point. I think there's going to be a portal available for Nightmare right now, so they are going to have to walk this one in. Redemption have been able to bully them away. 5 seconds. Can anyone actually get the touch? There is going to be someone on the point. Yes. But Redemption, are they going to hold on to this series, or will Nightmare somehow be able to break through at this point? They don't have any ults to work with at the moment. And Angela is starting to bully here alongside a door. There's going to be 2 going their way. And Light has switched over to Wolverine now, but it's going to be the last chance. And Light, if he goes down, that'll be it. Nightmare do not cross that point. Redemption keep us going to a map 4.
Oh my god. What an end out of Redemption. And I mean, you get right towards the end for Nightmare, but you just couldn't close out due to the fact that, you know, those picks, also the temporary swap over to Spider-Man and stuff. That was just such an odd map and almost went Nightmare's favor. If 1 or 2 things go their way, and they probably come out on top to go 3-0 in the series. But the series is still wide open. Redemption win that one. Zaraxis is going to be the MVP. I mean, both hit scan players were playing well, I think, on Redemption's side to allow themselves another map to stay alive. But, you know, they have to do a lot more than just that. We just saw in the last series it was a 3-1 finish. So, you know, we're going to still have to see a lot more out of Redemption. I mean, just because one map goes your way doesn't mean the next map that we might go to is another domination. Nightmares look pretty damn good on domination so far, despite a few hiccups.
Also, the Nightmare of old, the Nightmare that we saw in Ignite for this last stage, the mentality maybe would plummet at this point, right? Where you are so close to being able to 3-0 this, feeling comfortable, going into the next, and then you lose a very closely contested game, one that maybe you feel like you could have won had you done a couple of things a little bit different with those tweaks. But this is not the Nightmare of old. They have made these changes to their roster. It's a very different looking Nightmare. So I'm interested to see how their mentality is affected going into the next one. I think we'll see very early on with some of the fights as well. As we look back at some of the replays, we have to tip our hats to Redemption. They were far better in the ban phase, and they also looked a lot more comfortable in their engagements as well. I'm really liking Adore, by the way, as a duelist. I think he's really good.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, both of the duelists of them have been good too, and it's a tough, you know, kind of SVP for Monster. I feel like that was an insane map for Monster. He had 36,000 damage or something and like 7 deaths. So like this guy, I mean, was having huge meteor M's. Was just consistent, and just unfortunately got the L in that case. But he's been a really big, important aspect in terms of the Magneto part. So obviously, that consistency is going to enable Nightmare moving forward, but they have to be able to capitalize off of his aggression, off of his plays so far on the Magneto.
What I think is crazy here is, Dog, is, you know, we've been grinding through these games. These players have been grinding through these games, and it's still quite a way to go for them to find that spot in Ignite as well. As a reminder, if you have only just joined us or you weren't here earlier when we were explaining, there are only 2 spots available in Americas to be able to get promoted into Ignite Stage 2, essentially. So we still have, what, like 6 teams left at the moment? Yeah, 6 teams. No, more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 teams left at the moment, technically, where we stand in the bracket. If you get through to the next round, there will then only be 6 teams left. So that we've still got to go into tomorrow to be able to find these teams a spot in Ignite. So it is a long old journey, but if you can get to tomorrow, you get yourself one step closer, of course. And for Nightmare, can they join the next round and be in the same side? Well, they won't be in the same side of the bracket, but be in the same stage of the bracket as Equinox, our other Ignite team who is down in the lower bracket as well. We are guaranteed to have one new team in Ignite Stage 2 in Americas because of both of them falling to the lower bracket. But will we see Nightmare progress to the next round here as we go into map 4? We go into the lock-in bands. Are we going to see anything different now for Nightmare?
So far, the same old, same old. Get rid of the Loki, try to get one-sided Loki maybe, and kind of move along with your life. But this time it's going to be the Gambit. Again, sorry, that was map 1 when they did it. Trying to avoid that on specific maps, I guess, especially when we go to Convoy and Convergence. The side of Redemption, you know, what's their counter ban? It's going to be the Rogue again. I mean, they've been doing that too. Or rather, sorry, for Nightmare, it's the Rogue. They've been doing that throughout. Maybe force JRP onto that Angela. I think he was playing better towards the very end as well, so I wonder if we're going to go for more Vanguard bans for the side of Nightmare. And for Redemption, kind of same thing, but it looks like they're already focusing on maybe some other heroes. But that Elsa Protect allows you maybe to get the one-sided Gambit. But no, they don't. They go for the group ban. Kind of makes sense, I guess, because of how Impunity's played the group so far throughout the series.
I do think that Elsa Protect is going to be big, though, for Nightmare. Like, they opted to protect their strategist previously, but I do think the Elsa was one of the key factors to their early success in some of these games. So I don't hate trying it, especially because you still have a 2-1 lead, right? Even if this goes wrong, you still have a map 5. So I'm kind of digging just trying something a little bit different. It, of course, does open you up to being targeted on your backline a little bit. But at the moment, Gambit's still potentially getting through here, so we'll have to see what this last ban is going to be on the side of Redemption. Do they opt to get rid of Le Gambit?
Could do it for sure. I mean, they've played good Gambit throughout, too. Nightmare have. So, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad ban. They obviously aren't going to get the one-sided Magneto because of the Protect coming through on the opposite side. You've already banned the Groot. So it's going to be the Venom. Okay. That's interesting, isn't it? I don't know if I think it's fully important, but I don't know. I guess these teams just don't really mind playing against each other's strategists, which is probably not exactly a glaring compliment towards either team's strategist line.
I don't know. I'm not sure I would have allowed Gambit to get through here.
Yeah.
I know that Venom can certainly be very difficult to deal with, especially depending on what you have available as well, especially because you've lost the Elsa. Maybe you just feel like you don't have enough of a damage output, perhaps, but I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like giving the Gambit away. I think Gambit is still the most difficult hero to go up against. The Raging Royal Flush is far too good, but I will happily eat my words if it works out for Redemption here and they take us to a map 5. Or will it be Nightmare winning 3-1 and sending themselves through to the next stage of this bracket? The next stage of the bracket will be the last stage we watch today, by the way. It will be essentially the lower bracket quarterfinals. Remember, Equinox are waiting there to play, I believe, Dreamland. And then it is going to be LARP for Fun, who are waiting in the lower bracket for the winner of this game. Now remember, LARP for Fun did beat Nightmare in the upper bracket previously 2-1, so there is a chance for a rematch here, but we're gonna have to get there first. Can Nightmare get through Redemption?
They've shown the potential to do so. I mean, like, going back to the ban phase as well, doesn't look too shabby for them too, considering the Elsa and stuff, but we did see more of the Black Widow in the last one. Interestingly enough, that we're not going towards that this time around, but instead it's the Wolverine. It's SJW in the flank. Takes down Zaraxis. Rez comes through, who does use that passive. So with the team up, comes back in the fight from Star Wars.
A good early push as well here from Nightmare. They've taken a lot of space away from Redemption. And it's SJW on that Elsa, and there's a little bit of a kidnap there. Light is able to find the initial pull, and then the damage to follow as well. Groot's forced to just bubble up to try and stay alive, but I don't think the life is going to last very long. As for Redemption, they have lost 3, make it 4, and this is a big stagger, by the way. You're going to need an instant portal here from Adore, but even with the portal, with that stagger, you're potentially going to be sending 3 or 4 out against 6, and I guess you've got time to wait. Okay, they are going to wait, because the boss hadn't traveled too far, and here will be the portal, here will be the engagement. And if we don't see Redemption get an early pick here, we might see a very quick first point gathered, because the Seer is going to be there. The focus is right, and it is available. But maybe it's taking it down a little bit too late, as now Invisible Boundary and Raging Royal Flush are going to be used here by Redemption.
the Glortrox removes JRP. I mean, it's been tough for JRP ever since going over to that group. Meteor M from Monster again. Giving this man Magneto feels like a huge mistake at this rate, considering how much he's done throughout both series that we've seen them today. Light on the Wolverine. It's always going to be tough for recontest. You talked about it earlier. You can shove them off the payload, the objective. And then obviously full charge Wolverine Claws just kind of shreds through you. Upcoming phase, though. You know, Nightmare do have that Strangling Prison, or sorry, Redemption have the Strangling Prison at least ready to go. But this team doesn't seem like they're that good at the group comp so far, especially against this Wolverine, the fact that we're playing it. I know you do have the Invisible Woman and stuff to help try to peel it off, but not like what I've seen in the Redemption with this group comp.
Watching Light play Wolverine makes me want to play Wolverine, but I'm not sure I can do the things that he does. Makes it look so easy in what can be quite a complex hero. When you get down to it and look at the strategy you have to employ to try and find success, as Wild Thing just bubbles himself up as well. But now the Meteor M, can you connect here with anyone? A lot of people are avoiding, dodging, dipping and diving, and they do successfully get out of the way of that Meteor M, as now clobbering time comes through from Nightmare here, and that's going to lift up and stun so many of these heroes on the side of Redemption that they will find themselves losing one. It's a reply, though. It's a 2v2 trade. It does give advantage to Nightmare slightly because they have the BRB available to them as well.
Right, the crew's still on the cart, and as long as you have the Thing here and at least one healer, you're always in a solid spot. Grabbing the Groot again, flying with the jump pack. Right into the sky, too, with that bubble. He's able to live, but regardless, Light's still playing it very slow. Does have the ultimate up in a second as well. Adore, can you find the KO? But the Glortrox last time was big from SJW.
Brings him in, brings him out. Two get taken down by the Glortrox. God, Elsa is so difficult to play against when we see it in the right hands as well. I really do think she is best in slot for Duelist at the moment. Potentially a must ban. It's so difficult. That's another reason why I kind of love this season, because there are so many heroes that feel like you have to get rid of. One or two of them is going to slip through, and it's whether you can capitalize on having them on your team, and that's exactly what we're seeing from Nightmare at the moment.
Ooh, they disengage too. I mean, Adore pops the ultimate. Tuxa commits Invisible Boundary, and you know, the side of Nightmare, they're like, okay, we'll just wait it out. Nice play, I think. A good read by them to fully disengage it, and the fact they got out with their lives is a bit insane.
SJW again deleting. Add him up. Chop him down. And what's that coming over a hill? It is a monster as Adore gets removed from the lobby. Wild Thing's the next. Redemption have fallen, and they are not going to be able to stop this from ticking over to the second. Could we see a full 3 here from Nightmare? Now, this last point can sometimes be pretty tricky as the cart turns into a duck. I know your thoughts on that, dog. Don't worry. I know.
Like
but
ducks.
it can be difficult one. The trouble with this cart when it turns into a duck is you have to kind of sit on it for it to stay in overtime, for example. If you try and hover on the outside, sometimes it doesn't quite connect with it. It's a very big cart to try and work with.
Yeah, but it's like trying to sit on a rubber duck in the shower. No, not the shower, the bathtub. You know, it just floats up.
How often are you sitting on a rubber duck in the shower?
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, you know, you just sat on it to see like if you could like make it stay under. You know, don't laugh at me. That's everybody's done
Sorry,
that.
that was me. Yeah, that was me. No, but
Yeah.
you said the shower. I mean, in the bath. Yes.
I meant the bathtub, but it's late. Okay, you gotta give me a break here.
I'll give you a break. I'll give you a break.
Thank you.
At the moment, though, Nightmare not giving Redemption a break.
No.
They are very much getting in the face, and again, Adore. See, this is the thing. I feel like Black Widow is very good, but if you get caught out of position, you are very vulnerable as well with HP that you have. As Glortrox comes out, but SJW manages to just bounce away enough to be able to not only get the Glortrox out, but also be able to shoot and apply that damage at the same time. We're seeing a masterclass of Elsa Bloodstone.
Yeah, this is looking like a very different team too, back from the Ignite series. You know, I feel like it's kind of like seeing a player go back down to the minor leagues and just kind of dominate. SJW's just had a phenomenal series, just played super well today overall, and you know, obviously Monster, same thing with him. Can they keep it up? Can Light find another one? This time it's Pain to get picked off by Adore. You were talking about him earlier. This time it's traded by Light. Takes down Wild Thing on the flank. Look at that. Deep in the back line is Adore. He was the one that found the pick earlier on the flank, but it's traded by SJW, who came back on the, as you put it, best in slot hero.
1 minute 45 still to get to this final third point, by the way. And we've not really seen Redemption be able to put any sort of fight going in their favor, and judge, jury, dead, doesn't matter. SJW again just dealing so much damage at the moment, being able to pick off the hit scan is incredible. Monster has Meteor M as well, and alongside the clobbering time could be quite detrimental for the chances of Redemption to hold it.
How did he get that KO? He's on the gambit now on the backside towards spawn. Pain does get the 1v1. Light also finds another. So they're still kind of in this too, even though a lot of HP is critical. Light falls back with the passive. With a minute left to go, they actually opt to disengage for now. And Nightmare, no, they're actually kind of almost in a perfect spot regardless. That Lartrox from SGW has been big every time. You can get an off map here. I mean, JRP on the group has to kind of find something big, do something in the neutral, because this has been kind of a tough watch for the side of Redemption. Last fight territory now.
Yeah, this has been quite a dominant map. And sadly, just with how these fights have gone, whether it be in the neutral or not, Nightmare have just looked like a different side now with the Elsa back available to them. And actually, Light being on the Wolverine has been incredible at the same time. Now here comes Rage and Royal Flush. Adore does get the first pick onto Light. That gives them the chance. Zeraxis follows up with one of their own. But with Rage and Royal Flush, you are still in it here. As Impunity is hunting down anyone he can find. Fist after fist after fist as the next target is going to be Gambit here. Slams down, forces them away whilst this car is still moving. Invisible Boundary now has to come out here for Redemption just to keep them in it. With only 6 seconds left now, the portal has to be on the side of Nightmare just to try and get back into the engagement. Impunity finally falls. Meteor M is still available. Wolvo is still going to be there as well. Can you find a strategist with this Meteor M is going to be the real question. Hunts him down and deletes him, does Wild Thing. And at the moment, Redemption is still holding on.
They have to deal with Wild Thing. Both of the strategists pocketing each other. This buys a little bit of space, but he's getting target focused. Wild Thing needs to try to live, cannot. Pain takes him out too. Unfortunately, nobody's able to capitalize on the other side of the map. Adore trying to run away, at least buy space, but somebody's coming back from the spawn too, I believe. For the side of everybody's stunned and CC by Impunity. Earlier, he was the one with the haymakers finding so much damage. Now Light with the ult. Could go big 1v1 with the passive, uses it on just the Black Widow across the map. So he wins his 1v1 from the spawn, but will be able to find even more on this objective.
The hack and slash begins. Iron Agamotto is going to be big though. It is able to deny the KO essentially on the thing from the Wolverine, but now Impunity begins to pummel once more. And Nightmare, they do have the advantage. They've got the players, but Adore suddenly rejoins the fray on that Black Widow. And this is such an elongated fight that I feel it's going to come down to one of these ults being built up. It's Invisible Boundary again in favor of Redemption now. Strangled Prison also comes out. And this surely should be the beginning of the end, going in favor of Redemption. But somehow, some way, Nightmare are still holding on, but they don't quite get there. They fall off the point. And again, the rubber ducky comes into play. It is like... It's like dog in the bathtub. Just couldn't stick on it. And they will hold them at 2.
Oh my god. See, I told you it was the perfect analogy. I told you.
Honestly, it just summed it up brilliantly.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's just you're trying to suffocate Nightmare, and then they just kept coming up over, and then you're like, and they finally put them out of their misery. Talking about rubber ducks, of course. Rubber ducks don't have souls, but just like gingers.
Whoa. Okay, now first you come at me for being English in my accent, and now we start to be hair colorist, all right?
Sorry,
look,
my bad. I apologize.
We can look into your childhood later and you and your rubber ducks in the bathtub.
You know I was blonde when I was a kid?
What?
You know I was blonde when I was a kid?
Were you?
Yeah. That probably explains why I was so stupid.
There we go, a little bit of lore. Dogman lore. Used to be blonde. Now very much a brunette. All right. Business time for Redemption now. 2-0. Nightmare were able to get 2 on the board. Can we see them go one step further? I did say that last transition is very difficult from 2 to 3, and even with the amount of time that Nightmare had, they still couldn't quite get over the line. Real question is, how far can Redemption get? Can Redemption even get to that 3rd transition point, you know? Because now we are going to see the Penny Parker coming into the fray.
This is what they struggle with back on Midtown. You know, a lot of people's favorite map's your favorite map, and you know, I think it's for a very good reason. You know, a lot of these really practiced teams at the very end, which is crazy. I still can't get over that, but you know, you still have to close out if you're Nightmare right now, because you're 1 map away from progressing. The side of Redemption, I mean, you're close too, except Adore on the flanks is getting found. Traded his life for it though, so maybe it's worth it for the attack.
Backs away after the Chaos Sword because he recognized there was a little bit of pressure being applied. I say a little bit, a lot of pressure being applied at the moment. But just being able to be that Magneto, be on the point and deny. The shield plus the bubble, it just gives you so much sustain. Very difficult for teams to break through, and Adore does find the first KO onto Pain as well. So now, Nightmare are going to be without one. And it being a strategist may just mean that Redemption can force them back again. Making it look easy.
It is. I mean, Adore's been doing this every fight. Like, this is insane. Like, it's just, if we watch Adore POV, it'd just be, I don't know where he is, but he's somewhere good, maybe. Like, if these flanks are absurd, it makes sense because the character's so mobile, can escape very easily. As long as you play around the health packs, you kind of play like an assassin almost, right? And there he is, Adore on the high ground, flies away. Monster hits the shots, though. Excellent work from him. Whips out the Chaos Sword as well. Try to keep this up. 5 minutes left to go, second phase, and they actually got past the Penny Parker. It was this is the first for them.
Yeah, fantastic work, really. And we're not even being sarcastic. It can be very difficult to get past that Penny initially. It is going to give them the chance. Raging Royal Flush comes in, plus the Punisher now. And this is where, if you're a Punisher main, you get to thrive as well. Just need to try and get more than one, but I think just the sheer presence alone has allowed them to take enough space as Redemption continue to move forward. Sorry, Nightmare are on the defense, by the way. Ignoring the sword and the shield for now. They're going to be the wrong way around. Redemption have done very well to push this as far as they have into the second point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is snowballing, but this is, you can kind of hold here in this second phase, rather, at this doorway, if you can, play it well enough. We've seen so many teams hold with a lot of time. Both Meteor M's in this guy. Invisible Boundaries match, though. Nobody's found on the opposite side. However, Deadpool Ultimate comes out. Trying to pocket him is Fidel, but trying to get back to the main squad, by the way, as Impunity comes back onto the Rogue this time around. Got it through the ban phase, and he finds Adore, who is on Vanpool out of all things. No more Black Widow. Instead, they've been on that triple Vanguard composition. Doesn't pan out for them as Redemption, around their Nightmare, win that fight.
So now Nightmare have gained control of the bus. We'd have to see the retake here from Redemption. They don't have any ults at the moment either, so this is purely neutral for them. So really, it does point towards Nightmare with a chance to get another clean team fight. It's just about how many ults they want to use. In the end, it's just going to be Rogue that gets popped. Actually, I lied. The Glartrox is going to come out as well. As it will be a very easy fight now for Nightmare to win. And Redemption, they were okay with losing that one. They have been able to build up their Raging Royal Flush going into this next. They still have 3 minutes on the clock as well, so plenty of time. It wasn't going to be a worry for them. I would imagine that Redemption do have what it takes to get over this second point. I think the big question for me is whether they can actually get as far into that third.
I think for them, I like what they've done so far with the Rogue, the Gambit comp, so we saw some of this aside, but here comes that visual flush from Yatsu. They go aggressive with it. The Meteor M helps peel off the engage so far. There's laundry available from Zuxa, but they need to time it well because Light is here. Throws them out of it! They're out of the invisible boundary, and they're all smoked. Sent back to spawn. Impunity is there with the follow-up. Nice job to grab everybody on the inside of that boundary. Predictable location and placement from Light.
I mean, Rage and Royal Flush and Invisible Boundary both used, and Nightmare just laughed at it and said, yeah, well, we have a Light. They send him in, he drags 2 out, and now Redemption have to go back to the drawing board. They do have Punisher ult available. Question is, do you actually want to use it yet, or do you want to wait for a little bit later? If you use it now, maybe you can build it up quick enough to be able to use it again before these 2 minutes expire, so that's always going to be something that plays in the back of your mind as well, as Impunity deletes a door. Fidel is going to have Invisible Boundary on the side of Nightmare too, so Nightmare still looking like they have the advantage in this engagement, and maybe suddenly that clock is not helping out Redemption.
Yeah, Impunity on the Rogue so far has been a pleasant surprise. I mean, just deals with the door instantly. Maybe on the Captain America wouldn't have the same sort of damage output that he does. Upcoming fight, 1 minute 30. Now Zaraxis pops the ultimate you talked about into Fidel, the Invisible Boundary. So it's slowed down. He actually doesn't want to go in with it. They wait it out in the meanwhile. Wait for the Gru ultimate to go and land flush. Yeah,
now your job as Zaraxis is to try and build that up again in the next 1 minute and 12. Unless you can just get across the point without it, because you are going to have Rage and Royal Flush available soon. Triangle Prison and the Meteor M. Can you get the wombo combo? Yes, you can. There are going to be 4 KOs going in their favor. Make it 3 instead. And Redemption now have lost so much. They're going to have to back off again here. And Nightmare are holding so successfully now. And we are getting down to probably the last chance to walk this one in before we're at Strange Portal territory.
It should have been a one-team fight. It really did feel that way. But Impunity, I think, on the Rogue as well collapses. Also, Adore keeps getting picked, man. So he goes over to the Wolverine. Finally. I mean, he just had a rough go at it so far. Anytime he's taken an off angle, he's found. So this time, matched on these off flanks. He's had no success. 25 seconds left to go. Maybe the Wolverine's enough, but they have double Stratus ultimates. Can they deal with Monster, who has been a menace throughout the whole series?
Regin Royal flushes there. Meteor M also gets popped on the other side as well. And Rogue is also doing damage. Impunity and Monster working together to get that KO in their favor. So Raxus has fallen. And Nightmare looking to try and hold and deny, which of course would not only win them the map, but the entire series. But overtime will tick through. So they are going to have the chance. But again, when we get to overtime, we know what that Wolverine can do. But this time it's Adore trying to match up on the other side. 92% on that ult as well at the same time. So this is going to be the chance for Redemption to try and maybe force us to that third transition phase. As now, though, difficult for anyone to get through anything because Light is popping up with Let the Devil Out. And now Nightmare's starting to dominate in terms of the KOs that are coming through. And now there will be that portal as well to rejoin the fray.
Yeah, maybe the Spider-Man come through with his Axis, but Portal's going to be late from Yatsu. Wait, it's going to be over. Portal's not going to be there in time, and it's done. Nightmare have won in 3-1 fashion on the map, and they have now progressed even more further in the tournament after an incredible hold in second phase. Man, that was almost close at the very end.
And that's always gutting as well. You're always asking, could anyone else have switched to Strange a little bit sooner? But perhaps it was the fastest they could have got there. All that matters is Nightmare will progress to round 5 here. In our mid-season qualifiers, they will join in the same round that Equinox find themselves